What's up, everybody, and welcome to our week 2 preseason game day stream. We're gonna watch Dillon Gabriel go up against this Philadelphia Eagles roster, whatever is left of it at this point, for this preseason game. We're also gonna see an old friend, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, probably play the bulk of this game, if not the entirety of it. So that'd be fun to watch on the other side of the ball. Now, it is notable that there were a lot more players held out of this game overall than there were last week, especially on the defensive side of the ball. It seems like the Browns are very happy with what they have seen from the defense in joint practice. Really see no need to put them out there in today's game, which makes sense. 2 days of joint practice. Anybody who you think is going to be valuable, probably not going to play in this kind of a situation. We're awaiting kickoff right now. I'll read off the not expected to play list. So these are guys who are not expected to play. Doesn't mean we won't entirely see these guys play, but it does mean that they're not expecting you to play. So Greg Newsome, not a surprise. DeAndre Carter, he's a starting kick returner. Seems like he has that job locked up. Jerry Jeudy, obviously Deshaun Watson. Kenny Pickett's not going to play. Grant Delpit's not going to play. Shador Sanders is listed as not expected to play today. Somebody just super chatted the flamethrower. That Dillon Gabriel's nickname? Okay. Joe Flacco, not expected to play. David Bell, not expected to play. Denzel Ward, not expected to play. Dylan Sampson, that's a surprise, not expected to play. Lamaron James, I believe that's a DB. They got him listed as running back, but I believe he's a DB. Rayshawn Jenkins, who got in that fight in the game last week, he's not expected to play. Jerome Ford, Chidozie Newsome, that was like, what? We're not expecting him to play. The entire defense is getting the day off. Mahmoud Diabite, Carson Schlesinger, Mike Hall, KJ Henry, not expected to play. Ethan Posick, Joe Bitonio, Wyatt Teller, Jack Conklin, not expected to play. David Njoku, Harold Fenton Jr., Mason Graham, Myles Garrett, Malik Collins. Now, we're going to talk about some of the names that were not on this list that I do think is interesting. But the names that were on the list that were popping out to me, Harold Fenton not playing means that Harold Fenton's probably gonna start. He's gonna play a lot, right? Now Harold Fenton did play last week when Shador was out there. He did not play this week, so there's that. Let's see who else is on this list. Mason Graham, that's not really a surprise given how good he looked in joint practices. The names that weren't on the list were DeJuan Jones, which is, I think that's the most interesting name not on the list. You also had Cedric Tillman not on the list as well. We're getting ready for kickoff here in just a minute. So Cedric Tillman not on the list, so he will play. And the same is true of, let me pull it up right here. We're getting ready for kickoff, and the Browns are getting the ball first.
And it is taken by Davis.
And it's going to be a good kickoff. He's at the 30, 35. He gets about to the 38.
And that's where Dillon Gabriel will lead this Browns.
No preseason nuts, y'all. No preseason nuts. We're going to save the nuts for the regular season. What's going on with the NFL Network feed? Okay.
Mortgage partner, the Cleveland Browns. So here comes Gabriel, Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year in his one and only season at Oregon.
A lot of pressure here on him today after what Shador Sanders did last week with his great performance. Let's see how he does today handling.
Pierre Strong, who did last week, is in the backfield to start things off.
They're going to start with the run to Pierre Strong, and they get about 3-4 yards on the carry here.
What do you want to see from Gabriel early on?
Yeah, we want to see mobility. Mobility is such an important part of what makes him a great quarterback, gave him great success in college. And
so 2nd and 6 here for the Browns.
With no issues in that hamstring, so he can show us full sets.
As I try to fix
That's Jamari Pratt starting in the backfield and going in motion. So an empty backfield on second for Gabriel.
All right, Gabriel's first run. He's pressured and he's sacked. Immediately pressured. Where did that pressure come from? Oh, Jahad Campbell. Why are we acting like Kenny Pickett isn't the savior of this franchise? Shut up.
A little bit of confusion there in the Browns, right side of the offensive line. You got your right guard and your right tackle looking out, thinking that they might slide out. Inside linebacker runs right to the middle, and Zach Center just a little bit too slow to react. Pressure right up the middle on Gabriel.
Jahad Campbell with the
Zach Zenter, not a great rep from him.
Eagles Super Bowl winning defense.
He's in.
Out there against the Browns.
Yeah, he did not a great rep.
Strong in the backfield. Gabriel to throw again. Waits, throws, delivers to.
Oh, did he catch it?
That is close to a first down.
That's going to be a first. A little jumpy there in the pocket by Gabriel,
Played last year for the Browns and enough to
but the execution's solid. Yeah, a little bit of happy feet here you can see, but he stays in there
Able to find
and good. You know, that's one of the things you want to check for him today.
Sanders last week.
First 10,
Strong remains in the backfield.
little run action.
Push forward and get to the Eagles side of the
And you get about 3-4 yards on first down here.
To focus in on our position battles. Offensively, it's brought to you by Huntington Bank. Huntington Bank, proud to be the official bank of the Cleveland Browns. See Cedric Tillman, Deontay Johnson, a couple of guys that have had success at the end.
Make sure y'all hit that like button, y'all. Make sure y'all hit that like button.
On the back end of this roster, you know about Jerry Jeudy, you know about Tillman, you know about Thrash. After that, feels like the room's wide open.
Cedric, hey, look, the two guys who desperately need a better game or else they're like, might be cut, 16 and 74. You know, Deontay Johnson and Tevin Jenkins, they were awful last week.
2nd and 6, Gabriel. Had some space.
He's going to run here, and slide, and it's going to be 3rd and 4.
Jeremiah Trotter Jr. right in his face. If the name sounds familiar, that's because his pops were the same number.
2nd and 6. Now we're in 3rd and 4.
Able to escape out of the pocket to the left. And I think if that hamstring was healthy, he may have taken off and got that first down, but wisely slides. Maybe he didn't want to push the hamstring too early in this game.
All right, let's deal here. Come on, 3rd and 5.
3rd down attempt in this drive. 3rd and 5 on the opening drive of the game.
Browns at the 50 here. They get close. It might be go for it.
Gabriel with a blitz coming from the Eagles.
Stand tall. Good throw. First down. Solid execution. Saw the blitz, didn't panic, kept his feet still, saw where the blitz was coming from, got the matchup that he liked, took a tough throw to get it right. That's a tough out to throw during their blitz. Probably had a chance to hit that in the middle of the field there too, but still enough solid execution there at the offense, and the Browns are driving as they are at midfield.
63 starts during his 6-year career at Central Florida, Oklahoma, and finally Oregon.
Browns in strong. Monty Marshall. And look, the thing the Browns are doing, and this was something that unfortunately for Shador, he didn't really get a lot of. They weren't able to stay ahead of the sticks a ton. This drive right now is going perfectly to script for Kevin Stefanski. They're staying ahead of the sticks. They're in, 2nd and 7. They haven't got an extended situation. Only time they did was on the sack, and then Dillon Gabriel was able to get himself out of that trouble. So far, so good on a solid drive here from Dillon.
They want to have some great success this season.
Under center here. Remember, he hasn't done a lot of this either. And a run, strong, decent run, and we're going to get to a 3rd and short situation here. And the Browns are probably going to go for it now in this range. So, you got to think about it. 4 down territory now. Nice little run here by Pierre Strong. I can't believe it. He survived the tackle. He's one of the weakest contact guys on the team, but he survived the tackle there.
A 3rd and management. So important when an offensive line misses a block up front that you make something of the play to give yourself a management 3rd down.
All right. 3rd and 2. The Browns are probably going to go for it. They can't get it here. Probably get something short, quick, in rhythm for them.
Gabriel looks.
Stick. Yep. Good execution on stick. Good execution on stick. It's basic, right? Just hit that curl. see where the soft spot is. Got off the first one, moved back to the second. Boom. Good execution here. They're executing well. These quarterbacks, you know, all of them that's gone out there, they look well, much better coached than they did last year.
Get to somebody that's short.
So good drive here from the Browns here. Let's see if they can finish it. First and 10. Brown's going to get off quick. Again, stick, curl action, get that ball moving. Now we're in what? Second and 3, second and short. Executing the offense, managing it well, staying ahead of the stakes. Good job by Dylan.
Traded eventually to Baltimore, moved to Houston, back to Baltimore, trying to find a new home here in Cleveland.
He's a receiver that's got a ton of talent. The Browns are hoping that he can kind of revitalize his career there. He does a great job, just recognizes the coverage. Sit down, make yourself available. Gabriel doing a good job, just taking what the defense gives.
Yep. Now you get to get some play action involved here, second and 3. Little end around. It's going to be there. He has a blocker. Can he cut it? At the 5. At the 5. All right. Now, this is where Shedeur Sanders excelled last week, right? In the red zone. This is where he's been excelling all of camp. This is where the biggest difference between him and Dylan has been. So this is a huge opportunity here for Dylan. Nice drive, nice long, well executed, well managed drive there. But, you know, can you finish these kind of drives? That's going to be a big deal.
Out there leading the charge to
so far, so good for Dylan.
For his fandom.
They're gonna have to call a timeout. They're gonna call a timeout. Something went wrong.
Whistles. And Kevin
The play call didn't get in.
Used his first of 3 timeouts. So the Browns are moving. They called their first timeout.
All right. Pretty good stuff from Dylan in that first drive. You know, good execution of the offense. Not doing anything spectacular. No throws you're seeing in there that are amazing. I always say this with quarterback play, though. People get kind of obsessed. Oh, are we seeing these tight window throws? If you play the position properly, you shouldn't have to make tight window throws all the time, right? Like that's like a well-known thing. And right now, Dylan's doing what's asked of him, right? Executing the offense, you know, looking more or less as advertised. It seems like the height thing. He hasn't had any batted balls yet. It's the first drive. And look, a guy like Dylan Gabriel, right, who is going to be more reliant on what Kevin is going to cook up, is the kind of guy that Kevin has a lot of success with when it comes to those first drives, right? Kevin is one of the better, you know, early game scripters in the league. That was one of his things, especially in 2020, where he was scripting things up for Baker Mayfield, 2023. Kevin has always had that as a strength as long as he can get competent quarterback play from wherever he's at. And it looks like Dylan's able to execute that. Again, it's the preseason. You're really going up against the second and third string of Philly. Like there's one starter out there, or a guy who's going to play a lot. That's Jahad Campbell. But other than that, not a ton of other starters out there. So it's not like, you know, I'm saying this is, oh my God, he looks so good in a regular season game or anything like that. But you can see what the Browns have been selling so far in this first drive, which is good for Dylan, right? Now, again, he has to finish this drive. You know, it's not just good enough to get to the red zone, right? Shedeur, the thing he excelled at, he was finishing these drives, right? He was finishing in the red zone. He was making tight window throws, right? He was playmaking to get in there. So you're going to want to see that, obviously, out of Dylan. We got almost 1,000 people in here. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you never hit it before. But the Browns are back from commercial break now, and we'll get started. But so far, solid start from the offense. Want to see them finish this one, and if they do, we'll talk about it. Somebody brought it up. Look, if you have 3 quarterbacks that look pretty solid compared to what you had last year, I think that's the big thing. Then you feel pretty good. All right, first and goal here.
Opening drive, 11 plays, 58 yards. It's taken almost half of the first quarter. Gabriel's still at the controls. That's a handoff. That's not going to go much of anywhere. Gabe Hall stop. Marshall.
That's going to be Amani Marshall there, second and goal.
impressed you so far?
I just think the patience, Dylan Gabriel, just taking it, the defense gives him. But that's what's important if you want to be able to go on these long, methodical drives down the field. The Eagles have shown a few different pressures. Browns picked it up for the most part, but Gabriel just calmly just taking what the defense gives you. Don't ever push the ball when you don't need to.
Second and goal with Gabriel under center. It's Marshall again.
Good cutback and a drive finish. All right. It's good. Are they going for two?
Season one, cascading the booze on the visiting Browns and maybe some of their hometown players.
I mean, that looked like Stefanski ball, right? And you could just, if this is what the Browns, why they took him in the third round, right? They saw a quarterback that they felt like they could play Stefanski ball with, and that was the most Stefanski ball drive that we've seen all preseason. I mean, that was nothing but Stefanski ball right there.
Just jam it up inside.
Dustin Hopkins for the PAT.
Oh my God!
Marquez just throws it away. That was red mask.
Was there a snap issue? Was there a snap issue there?
Cleveland's lead will be 6-0 after Amani Marshall takes it from Dylan Gabriel. Runs through a tackle, gets in, and you know who loves it? That's right, Jador. Browns with the lead.
Good work there by Dylan. Okay. The load is that game management stuff. He did that pretty well. Pretty good stuff there. I would be pretty happy there. That's a good first drive. We got a KW Outdoors management. Hey, you know what would be the most funny thing? What if the Browns were right about both of these quarterbacks? Like, what if both Shador and Dylan are good? Have we opened ourselves to that possibility? And so far, I mean, like, I'm not used to seeing the Browns put out quarterbacks in the preseason and being happy with what you've seen. Oh, we got somebody who just gifted some subs in the chat. Big shout, big shout, big shout, big shout, big shout, big shout, big shout. But yeah, that's a good drive there from Dylan. I'm pretty happy with that. That's a pretty solid. Did they take away the live thing? Am I not live anymore? I got to be live still, right? Yeah, I'm still live. I don't know. I can't find it on my iPad. Yeah, somebody brought this up. Why do people want to split the team in two every year? I don't know. I think it's like natural tribalism, right? People getting these arguments about who they think's better, and then somebody, you know, calls them an asshole for thinking something different of them. And because somebody called you an asshole for thinking something different, now you double down and dig in and get really, really mad. It's stupid. It's stupid, right? You know, it's just, it usually ends up people arguing about who's right or trying to prove their take right. It's dumb. I just want the team to be good. The snap for the extra point was snapped to the legs of the holder for anyone thinking it was the holder or D-Hop's fault.
In the pocket, on third down. That's just what you want to see from your quarterback.
Hopkins to kick it away to Montreal.
Oh, so it was the snapper, the long snapper fucked up.
Across the 25 to the 30 before he gets blasted. It's pushed out of bounds.
Cool. Good to know.
With the shot. So the reason the Browns are up only 6-0, a rough snap there by the rookie, Brent Madison. What do you do when things...
Do you think it's looking like Alex Wright will be pushing Shelby Harris for his spot. Nah, they've had Alex Wright at edge. They've had Alex Wright at edge.
Oh, I just go right to the first tee and just swing as hard as I can. That hurt my back. Retire to the beer cart.
Our old friend Dorian Thompson.
That's Shelby Robinson. I mean, yeah, that's Shelby out there.
Browns getting the start for the Philadelphia Eagles. Hands it off to the former Green Bay Packer. 18 Dillon to get 3 yards.
Dorian looked pretty good in the preseason last week when he played. I was able to watch his snaps. He had a pretty good day.
Primary defense, the right corner is the best defense. Sitting in on the linebacker.
Yeah, big position battle here. JOK, obviously, for the season. Yeah, Monte's injured. We don't know when he's coming back. And so we're going to be paying special attention to Nathaniel Watson, physical downhill guy. Mississippi State, Jerome Baker, who's more your coverage veteran guy. And then Winston.
All right, 2nd and 6 here. Browns defense gets a hand on him behind the line, but can't finish it. That's going to be 3rd and 5.
Conversation about
3rd and 5 or 3rd and 4.
Sam Kamara with a stop there on A.J. Dillon, who picked up a couple and set up 3rd and 5 for the Eagles. Of course, we all know about Carson Schwarzenegger, the 2nd-round pick out of UCLA, who's been great right in the middle of that defense, not playing today.
Devin Bush still playing.
Good look at Jerome Baker.
We're probably anticipating a suspension. Tony Baker out there.
State now in his first year with the Browns.
Same with Cam Mitchell. Looks like Tony Brown got a promotion.
Almost 2 years ago today in this building.
Ah, Cam.
Smith, talks of camp for Philadelphia, has a first down.
good little throw there on the slant route. You're getting those games as a defensive back. Expect if you're giving outside leverage.
Hey, Cam's had such a bad camp, man.
Slip it in there with a quick slant route. One of the better throws you are in those shorter yardage situations.
1st and 10 for the Eagles. Facing the Browns' backup defense. It's Dillon again.
Good tackle by D. Baker. Good tackle.
That's a neck injury after 4 solid seasons with the Packer. Baker with the stop.
Sam Dwyer had a great week in camp. He was in the backfield the entire week. He does a nice job coming around the edge there and starting the tackle for the Browns.
So we got Shelby, Isaiah McGuire, Alex Wright. Those are probably the rotation guys we got out there on the D line.
These 2 joint practices.
Joe Tryon-Shoyinka's out there, I believe, too.
Yeah. What's on there? This Eagles offensive line the best in the NFL. What does that say about the Browns defensive line?
2nd and 8.
Oh, we got a sack. Oh, it's a super sack. That's going to be 3rd and forever. Once that ball goes backwards, it's a fumble, right? Yeah. That ball goes backwards, it's a fumble. But great pressure by Isaiah McGuire, just straight up winning his rep here against 74. And the same thing happened too. I think that's Joe Tryon back there, Shoyinka. Number 90. Yeah, it's Tryon Shoyinka. And it's
Bring it down with the interception because the rest of the offense is looking down the field. They don't know where the ball is, but huge play for the Browns knocking it back there.
3rd and 22. Pressure again.
Yep. Good shot. Good shit, defense. Nice. Woo, buddy, that Browns defensive line looks deep. You got your food and your beard. Appreciate you letting me know that. Yeah. Yeah, this defensive line got a whole lot of ass whoop. A whole lot of ass whoop in it, man. This defensive line it's a Jim Schwartz one. Love that. All right, Gage, don't drop the punt or something. Oh, good cut. All right.
6-yard return as he gets it out to the 20. That's where Dylan Gabriel will start. Suffocating defense in your face. Oh.
All right. Dylan Gabriel's 2nd drive is coming up after a pretty impressive first drive. So far, it's good showing from the Browns. Obviously, limited takeaways here. It's not their first team defense or first team offense. You got some guys out there. The main guys they're relying on are backups. But, you'll want to see the guys on your team look good. That's what you want to see. I predict there will be some podcast next year where linemen talk about how horrible it was facing Cleveland's front seven. Yeah, there's probably going to be a couple of podcast clips that pop up. The Browns front seven is hell. That defensive line is hell, man. Like, it's just hell. They were beating up the Philadelphia Eagles apparently all week in practice. They were just beating him up. So, tough. It's hell. That is a real defensive line right there. Great defensive tackle play, 3-tech play. They can just throw edges at you that can get pressure. Isaiah McGuire, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, you just saw it there. Those are the backup guys, right? Like, you got Alex Wright there in that competition as well. He got a sack last week. The Browns just got dude after dude they can just throw out there, man, on that defensive line. And apparently, so I've been doing some digging on the the DeJuan Jones situation, and why DeJuan's out there. The best I'm getting from people in the know is that this is because DeJuan has just not been looking good in practice.
We're going to talk about Dillon Gabriel's uncommon maturity all game, I'm sure. But
all right, Dillon.
After that drive, after that touchdown, DeJuan Jones went to go to the sideline. Gabriel motioned him back, said, "No, you celebrate with us." And then he came over and went up and down the line talking to all of his wide receivers.
To celebrate so far. That is the first incompletion.
He held the ball there. Looked like he wanted to pull the ripcord, thought against it. Second long. D-line looks this good, and Miles isn't out there. That's the big difference, man. Like, yeah, this defensive line is pretty good. Because I remember when Miles used to come out the game, it'd be so noticeable. All right. What's the flag? Is it going to be a push-off on Deontay? What's the penalty?
His crew at work this afternoon under the sunshine in Philly.
I think that's on the Browns, right? Oh, I think this is ineligible receiver downfield. Maybe you had a lineman pass the 3-yard mark. Yeah, I think it's on 56. Ineligible. Yep. All right.
Called on the center Luke Whitler for Ohio State Buckeye, and it's just great to see him back these last few weeks. Suffered a broken right ankle last year in the preseason. So Nick Sirianni, the Super Bowl winning
2nd and 15.
accepts the penalty.
All right, let's see him do some digging here. He's going to have to throw his way out of this.
It's Gabriel to throw again. Plenty of time.
Laser.
And it's another connection.
That was a laser there to get into 3rd and short.
Slot. He's going to make coverage out of it. Does a good job just selling the outfield over. And he sits down quickly.
That ball had some zip in it. Real tight spiral there for Dillon. All right, 3rd and 4. Convert here. They're giving you an off look here. Good throw. Crowded pocket. Crowded pocket, and he's making these throws. Great job overcoming a big penalty there on 2nd down with 2 tight throws there
crash. And
Tight pocket, stays in there, not flighty, looks calm.
his receiver can catch it. And the defensive back has
We got to give Bill Musgrave some credit, man. Both these quarterbacks, the rookies, have come out here, and they've looked ready to go. Browns at the 40 again.
First two drives so far for the Cleveland
Little
Browns.
play action here.
Steps
He's going to step into it. He's got a man. That's Cedric Tillman.
Eagles territory. Another Browns.
Oh, he's kind of cooking, y'all. Hey, he's kind of cooking right now. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Eagles this year.
Wait a minute.
got Tillman.
I mean, lucky he didn't get a push off, but
Set to the Browns, right? Doing a great job separating at the top of the route.
Cedric Tillman's one of the best at that corner route in the NFL. In the small sample size, he got to do it last year.
Top to
All right, let's give him a run play here.
football. Make something happen.
What an impressive start for Dylan Gabriel here in his first NFL action. Hands it off, and very little for the Browns there.
Yeah, it's about 2 yards there on second down, on first down.
Backfield is something that's going to be very interesting. They only have one running back on their roster that had more than 100 regular season carries, and that's Jerome Ford. So there's going to be a lot of inexperienced guys that Kevin Stefanski's going to have to lean on.
If there's one position group that you don't mind not having a lot of experience, that's that running back group. Because as we know, you wear your tread out really quickly as a running back, the more times you get tackled by these big physical NFL defenses.
Gabriel, 2nd and 8.
Good process there.
That's Caden Davis.
And that's a first down.
Getting another
Great
first
job.
down.
He's
A couple of touchdown receptions from that man, Shedeur Sanders, last week, and now
he kind of cooking.
it's the toss from Dylan Gabriel, and what an impressive
He kind of cooking. Holy, hey,
to the
hey, hey, he's kind of cooking. He's kind of cooking right now. I ain't gonna lie. He's kind of cooking. Hey. He's got to finish the drive though. He's got to finish the drive, but he's kind of cooking right now. He's kind of cooking. I ain't gonna hold you. Got a super chat, Rex Fortune. So if Graham, Sweats, Fannin, Simpson, Samson, and now Shedeur and Dylan look good, there's a large portion of this Browns fan base who owes AB an apology. Yeah, this draft class, look, it's all, I got to be careful because it's the first time the Browns have had like legitimate top level picks in a long time. But this draft class looks encouraging. Like, we don't know if it's going to be good yet. We can't do victory laps right now. But this has been a pretty nice looking draft class so far. Someone said, be nice, say, ain't no kind of. He is. A-Dog. He's making some throws. like, he's making some throws, and they're coming off his hand hot. Like, all right, let's see if he finishes it.
It is 7:38 in the morning for those watching on KGMB in Honolulu. Welcome, as they are enjoying one of their favorite sons, Dylan Gabriel, in his NFL debut.
All right, Dylan, finish the drive now.
Right now, watching this game, and this is a great Chris Focus on the podcast. That's a dream.
We got another super chat from Ray Rags. I'm gonna get to it in just a second.
Second quarter.
Oh, Dylan. See, you got to finish the drive. Got to finish the drive. Some good, some bad there. But you should just threw that out of bounds. He knows better than that, right? Let's see how he responds to it, because he knows he made a boo-boo there. That was a fuck up. Like you said, what if the Browns were right about both quarterbacks? Well, let's see what happens here.
Here in the flat, getting pushed to.
Okay, man. Deontay Johnson's gonna get fucking cut. Yeah, that might be gets Deontay cut. So what happens there? They're doing over, right? Deontay cuts his route so shallow, he ends up hitting the underneath guy. He ends up hitting the flat. He's supposed to be, so he brings his guy to the tight end. That's the guy who gets the pick six there. I'm willing to bet they're probably furious at Deontay Johnson right now. Again, Dylan should have just threw the shit out of bounds. So no, it's not really an excuse for him, but like, what the fuck was Deontay Johnson doing on that route? Like in no world he should find himself there. Bad pass by Dylan as well. Yeah, bad decision, bad pass. Well, he was cooking. Yeah, he shouldn't have thrown that for sure. But that's like the third time Deontay Johnson's run a garbage route in the preseason already. Yeah, Dylan's got to not throw that. Deontay's got to do a better job on that concept, like not bringing his man right into the fucking play there. Yeah, by the way, Deontay Johnson's putting out some of the, he's trying to get cut. This is bad tape from him. Moving the pocket around, no thanks. Yeah, I mean, he looked a lot better when he was staying in there. I mean, they moved the pocket. It's a boot, right? They ran this with Shador, too. You just got to make a better decision if you're dealing when you're in that situation. He knows it. That's what, look at his face. He knows he fucked up.
First quarter stats brought to you by Park Place Technologies. Park Place Technologies supporting 100,000 data centers in 180 countries.
But for the most part, they were keeping the pocket pretty stable.
Offensively, moved up and down the field at will. But it was the early play here in the second quarter that gave the Eagles the lead after Andrew Makuba picked off Dylan Gabriel, returns it 75 yards for the touchdown. Here, King Davis returns the kick. There's a flag down on the play as he gets out to the 33-yard line. And right after the call by Clete Blakeman, Joe Thomas gets a chance to show you what went wrong for the Browns.
Yeah, you can't, when you're running that concept, that's boot levels, right? You've seen boot levels before, right? Quarterback rolls out, you got the flat, you got middle, you got high, right? You got to be in the middle. But you know what? I think this is a good opportunity. I mean, like, even if Shador threw an interception, right? I would want to see how he bounced back. You make the mess up. Okay, let's see if that haunts you, right? Because that was the thing with DTR.
Space right here so that one defender can't cover two people.
Yeah, and then look at Deontay just brings this guy into the play. What are you doing? Yeah, Deontay's going to get cut, dog. Like, why are you cutting that route there? What is wrong with you? He's ran that so much.
He throws the football into traffic. So many times bad things happen. And you try to make something up as you're on the fly, and guys have just not done things right at that point. Just throw it away. Don't make it worse. Obviously, don't throw a big six.
All right, got to settle in.
Turnover is a huge problem for this team a season ago. It's 22 in turnover differential, far and away the worst in the NFL. Didn't turn it over last week in Carolina, and here this has already switched the momentum, albeit in a preseason game.
Oh, that is a rancid route, man. That is a absolutely
Can I take the football away?
I'm shocked they put him back on the field after that. That was a rancid route.
From back in the backfield.
Good run by Pierre. All right, let's get third and manageable. Let's settle in now. Keep up the good content. Q been following since 2019. Moved to the U.S. from Italy and moved to the U.S. from Italy, and for some reason dedicated myself to this Browns. Appreciate you, Zork.
Characters. Rushing back situations, but everything was going right up until that point. How do you respond? How are you going to handle adversity? Every quarterback in the NFL, almost every single game faces adversity. You got to be able to put that behind you, wipe your slate clean, and not think about it. Go out and play your best play the next play.
Third and the long two. Gabriel looking left.
All right, way to settle in. Way to settle in. Finish the drive now. Good. You make the boo-boo. You fucked up. You shouldn't have thrown the ball. You know better. Maybe you're trying to put some big A anticipation on that. You didn't expect your wide receiver to be in the flat. Bring Makuba down there with you. Cool. I get it. Bounce back from it, though. Show some mental toughness. Dude, that's the thing that bugged me about Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Once one thing went wrong with Dorian, it's out the window. So keep bouncing back here, right? Q, I already see why Bond was already in talks immediately after the news.
For Thrash for 43 yards.
It's wild. But yeah, it's true.
Strong for a couple. Quick reminder to kick off your mornings with news by Swift Morning Cleveland. Tiffany Darwin, Mike Brookman, and meteorologist Brent McGill have more than everything.
Yeah, Deontay's supposed to be cutting that route at like the 25, 20-ish area. He cut that shit at the 6.
Be nasty. Perfect training camp weather, huh?
Yeah, that's you.
That was one of the worst routes I've ever seen somebody run. I was just watching the game on the NFL Network. It is some BS and cut off. I'm pissed. If you got NFL Plus, you can watch it. Just use a VPN if you're in Cleveland. You can't watch it like on local. You got to use a VPN, or if you are local, it's on one of the, I think it's on News 5.
In the secondary, there is a flag on the play. Right in front of the Cleveland sideline. Offside. Defense, number 49. That's Jacorian Bennett, the cornerback who, like Ringo, is trying to join Quinyon Mitchell in that secondary. He was just picked up in a trade earlier this month from the Las Vegas Raiders. Eagles with a lot of good defensive backs.
2nd and 2.
A little bit earlier today about the.
Hey, a thing that's been lost. Jamari Thrash has looked pretty good.
Gabriel's connected successfully on 9 of his first 12. Another play fake. Plenty of time.
Oh. All right, don't mind the choice. Good play by the DB. A good choice.
That's a good choice.
I was just watching the game on the NFL Network, and it cut off. Okay, I got that one already.
This is one of those plays where the Browns are looking for the.
Yeah, and look, I'm not going to lie to you. If I'm Dylan Gabriel, I'm not trusting 16 for the rest of the fucking game. Like, he might as well not be out there.
No easy throws. Even if Dylan would have offed it up.
They're probably going to try to get something short here. They're going to go for it. Little blitz. They got it. Nice little run. Good blocking. Good blocking here. That really opened it up for 39.
Good play call here by the Browns going with the draw. You've got the linebacker blitzing right there. And anytime you get blitzes, get penetration in the front, it's going to create separation for that draw game. The best thing to run against.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Deontay gets cut like before they go to 53. If they go to 75, I think Deontay gets cut.
Marshall with 22 yards on 4 carries, kept it going out of the backfield.
All right, Amani.
Jeremiah Trotter Jr.
Yeah.
25. Time for today.
Nice bounce back drive from Dylan, man.
By Franklin University. Franklin makes it possible for you to earn an degree that fits your life. Hey, what was the final score of the Browns Eagles preseason game 2 years ago, almost to this date? Give me a hint. It was tied. Was it 18-18, 17-17, 13-13, or 24-24? Do you even know? No, don't guess. Just tell me.
Yeah, I can tell you later. Okay, right.
Hey, get the ball off.
Eagles showing blitz. Strong. Pushing forward for maybe a yard.
If we're going to check, you got to check faster. You check that late, you let them get a running start downhill on you. Pretty much dooms the run play. They got to get the shit in faster. Dylan's got to get that check in faster.
So we would consider
3rd and 3. They're going to go for it here if they don't get the 3rd down here.
blitz has to be a second down. Trying to disrupt what the Browns are doing when they're trying to pass on.
Marshall RB1.
One game that's been very effective for
He's looked pretty good, man.
Another lengthy drive by the Browns.
Pierre Strong in the game.
8 plays, 51 yards.
They got tight coverage, top of your screen.
Gabriel.
Ooh, got nailed. And that's Cornelius Lucas in the game, not DeJuan Jones. Probably going to have to kick a field goal now. Yeah. Horn got cooked.
but unfortunately, the Eagles defender goes with
Yeah, gets him long and then goes right under him, number 13. He's going to get cut for bond, probably.
something other than that.
Yeah, just take the field goal. Let's see if Dustin makes this shit. We need to see if he's good. This is a 40-yarder, 45-yarder, and it's good. All right. Solid bounce back drive by Dylan Gabriel, I thought. That was a solid bounce back drive, right? You know, say what you want about the guy, but you're starting to see what the team saw in him and why they took him where they took him. Marshall going to take Judkins' job? Probably not. But, you know, he could be a nice third option there at running back. He could take Pierre Strong's job, which I would not abstain from, right? You know, but he's had a good camp. He might even make a team that's not in Cleveland, right? He might make somebody's 53. I think he's put out good enough. That is a rancid route, man. Somebody ran a rancid one. Was it Whiteheart? I just don't imagine on that play. I'm looking at the play right now, and they got like the dots for it, the next gen stat looks. I'm looking at this interception, and I'm trying to find out who ran the rancid route here, because somebody fucked up. Yeah, it has to be Deontay Johnson. There's no other way it's not Deontay Johnson that ran it, because he's coming across the field. It's an over route. I mean, they got Cedric Tillman. I don't know. Yeah, I think this is just a horrific route. I don't know where he is. He just lets 24 drive on him. I guess since it was I don't know, man. That shit was rancid. Super computer might be a Mac Mini, but I've seen enough to not need Kenny Sanders is QB2 at this point. I mean, you got to factor in Joe Flacco into that conversation too, right? I'd be pretty encouraged with what you've seen out of both rookies, man. I'd be pretty encouraged. That was solid work. Dylan's with the second team offense.
46.
It's not like he got David Njoku out there. Like, it's the second team offense.
Howard Hanna, the official real estate provider of the Cleveland Browns. A little bit of another low snap by Matisic, who is squaring it off with Rex Sunahara, the local kid. That's the long snapper on this squad. Sinahar, of course, replaced Charlie Hewlett, who is now in Philadelphia, oddly enough. Johnson to return. Across the 25. And then he's flagged down by a host of Browns. Time for today's Player Watch presented by Tostitos. It is that man that just made the tackle, Nathaniel Watson. And Tostitos team bags their back. Scan the QR code to win an epic Browns game day experience. Hey, that's 2 straight weeks with a big-time special teams play by Watson.
They had a huge play last
All right.
against the Carolina Panthers, known for his physical downhill.
I don't think Tevin's looking as garbage as he did last week. Not really seeing Dylan's height as an issue yet. Again, it's just one of those things, too. It's like there's just a little bit of height difference between the Browns starting unit, the Eagles starting unit, and is that going to make a difference? I'm still not completely alleviated, but he's been doing some good work from the pocket, you know?
Trouble wideout is looking a little bit cooler than I am. Jerry, what are you seeing with this offense so far?
Gabriel looks like a solid backup. Yeah, he looks like what they sold him as.
Talk to me about this rookie quarterback. Last week we talked a lot about Shadur Sanders. What about Dylan Gabriel is impressing you?
Dylan, he stayed growing every day, coming to practice, learning to get better version of himself, and come out here today, convert third down and make it play.
And the wide receiver room. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Jerry, you're the old guy in that wide receiver room. What is it like in there with so many positions up for grabs?
It's crazy. I ain't really looked at it. I still feel young, so, it's amazing. We got a great group of guys, man. They've been doing a great job throughout the whole camp, consistently growing, consistently learning. I'm excited for the group of guys that we got here.
There's a young man named Deontay Johnson who has been in the league for a while, but every time I look, he's attached to you. And he said he's trying to learn as much as he can from you. What is that?
Learn how to run a fucking route, Deontay. How about that? Come on, like, you learning? You get very basic shit. You're a Pro Bowl player, Deontay. Like, this is what's driving me crazy. This is a Pro Bowl player. He doesn't know how to run that concept. Are you fucking kidding me?
Jerry, Jamari Thrash having himself in.
Hey, Jamari Thrash look good, but man, I'm done. I think I'm done with DJ, dog. Browns look good in all phases. So far, so good.
They're doing a lot of great things out there, and they're staying consistent.
Coach Stefanski said.
Let's get off the field here. Little blitz, and they got him! Oh! Airplane. Let's go.
Very smart. Know the offense, know the scheme, know what coach.
Where's Chef Zay at? Is he smacking the dummy for the preseason?
Been doing a great job of learning it and
Get off the field.
and doing what we need to do to get better.
DNN News says I was a doubter, but great job overall, Dylan. It was solid. A solid outing. No, there's no here's why I'm harping on the Deontay Johnson thing so much. There's no explanation for that level of poor execution for somebody that's good like Deontay is, right? Other than he don't give a fuck. And if he don't give a fuck, then he need to be off the team because that's why he got cut from every other team that had him. Right? That's the question he's supposed to answer is, does this dude care? Is he going to be a team player? You're not seeing team player stuff from him right now. You're just not. He's not blocking on end arounds. He's not running the proper route. He's just not being a team player right now. And if he can't do that, he needs to get the fuck off the team. Dominic says offense looks way more prepared than last year. I would agree. Yeah, big shout to Chef Zay. I like Chef Zay. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna get some mayo for my sandwiches. Whew. All right. All right. Is Dylan gonna get out there again?
High score of the preseason game 2 years ago. Remember Kellen Mond, Austin Watkins. Remember, he blew up the preseason, let everybody receive it. Browns had a lead until Tanner McKee, who's now the backup for Jalen Hurts, the Johnny King. Your final, Joe? 18-18.
They had tied just like they called it. What a fascinating preseason game. And it ends a tie. Thankfully, it was overtime.
Here's what you want to see.
Been kicking that game.
Let's continue.
No comment. Fourth drive for Dylan.
That fumble's on Dylan. I think that fumble's on Dylan. I think he extended too far. Let's see. I don't know, X. Him and Pierre got to get that together because that should never happen.
The point right there to be able to.
Somebody's going to bring that up about him being short. He ain't got the arm length to play quarterback, buddy.
And they'll turn it over to a new quarterback. It is former Ohio State Buckeye and Syracuse QB Kyle McCord, who is fighting it out with DTR.
We're going to field a fumble recovery by Philadelphia. Receiver, defensive player recovered at the 31-yard line and pushed the tension down.
Thank you, Clete. So McCord, who spent several years in Columbus, guys, eventually.
I gotta look at that. I think Pierre Strong might have been wide, but like they both should be able to complete a fucking handoff if something goes wrong.
34 touchdowns a year ago. So after the fumble, Johnson brought down, and he is down inside the 25. Stuck by Nick Needham, Donovan McMillan.
Offside defense. For 99
Cameron Thomas fighting it out for one of those edge spots, former third rounder, the Arizona Cardinals. Another guy that's had a good camp. There's so much depth on this defensive line. Second half, we're going to tell you a little story about Myles Garrett and George Mailata, who find left tackle of the Philadelphia Eagles. But it's more than just Myles.
Yeah, wake up counting my blessings.
Johnson gets it inside the 20.
Who's out there right now?
First down for the Eagles. Just their second of the day as Tony Brown drags him down.
Browns facing a little adversity here.
Let's get some pressure. Let's push this back a little bit.
Together a little drive. I want to see on defense who's going to be the man that steps up, that makes the play, that says, "Hey, follow me, get my back. We want to change this thing up right here." Opportunity to make a big play on first down, knock the Eagles back, and then gain a little bit of that momentum back, gain some of that confidence back for your defense.
Hand off again to Johnson. Makes his way down to about the 16. Juan Briggs, one of those guys vying for a backup defensive tackle role. Wrap up.
You need to get some pushback here.
On that number 5 overall pick. Mike Hall still nursing that knee injury. They're hoping that he'll be ready early in the season. You know, the one veteran, obviously, the defensive tackle part of this rotation is Shelby Harris. Saw him make a nice play on a batted pass. 12-year vet. Johnson again inside the 15, darts his way down toward the 10.
It's gonna be 3rd and 1.
Needham wraps him up. Needham, one of those guys vying for a spot at the end of the defensive back. We had a big pick last week.
David Watson stepping up there, trying to
Both Dylan and Shador throwing 2 TBs in debut. It's like I'm seeing from the young guys, Johnson sucks. Wasn't even giving him a chance. Well, they both had 2 scoring drives. I don't think Dylan threw a touchdown. They might have stopped it. That's a bad spot. No, where's the far spot?
Good job stopping it. Tanner McKee ran it for a touchdown last week. So I guess it's a worth about one. Do you like that? Would you have had this back in the day?
I would have been the one taking the brunt of it being on the outside. It seems like it's one of those plays once you figure it out where it's just about impossible to stop. And we had a pretty good center, Alex Mack. I don't know if you ever heard of him. I don't think that guy would have been stopped. He'd have been like Jason Kelsey down there scratching and clawing for a first down. You know what? I could have. That's one of the things that I really regret about my career.
Sorry about that. Having technical difficulties right now. There we go. Who's that? Good. He must be new. Yeah, the Browns basically have taken out anybody who started this game on defense. So now we're down to, third string guys. So we're at the third string defense right now.
Both ball steps took one step and blew that play up right in the backfield. Great job by him recognizing and blowing that play up.
2nd and 11.
Underneath.
That was picked up by Marshall.
3rd down.
Former Carolina Panthers, spent last season with Las Vegas. One-time 2nd-round pick. And it looks like that's going to take us down to the 2-minute warning in a fast-moving, fun-filled first half. Dylan Gabriel has had his shots, but unfortunately Kevin Stefanski has seen a couple of turnovers. The Eagles down.
All right, man. 2-minute warning in the first half. Right now, I think they took all the startings out the defense. I wonder what they're going to do now with the offense. Are they going to keep Dylan in the game? They might just switch back to Tyler Huntley now. But, yeah, I think with what you saw from the guys who are going to play, you saw some good stuff from Jamari Thrash. That's great. I thought Dylan looked pretty poised out here. That's good. Even Pierre Strong had some moments as a running back, and I think Monty Marshall continued his strong camp. The only player I'm like, hey, this guy probably is starting to play himself off the roster is Deontay Johnson. And I have to look and see how Tevin Jenkins was playing because he was also rancid in that opener. Yeah, it don't look good. I think this Deontay Johnson experiment's probably not going to, but they're going to replace it with the Isaiah Bond experiment. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But so far, so good. I'd be encouraged. Someone said short passes against backups behind good protection. I mean, those weren't short passes that Dylan was making. I think what impressed people about what Dylan was doing was what he was doing in the and long situations, right? The 2nd and 15, battling back from that. The sack in the first drive, coming back on 3rd and 15 and getting a first down. Like, I'm not about to act like he just threw short screen passes and that's all he did. Honestly, I think he threw less short passes than Shador did in his debut. And I thought Shador looked fine in his debut, looked good in his debut. So like you can't have it both ways, You can't be like, oh man, my guy looked good. And it act like the other guy was throwing short passes when Shador averaged about 6 yards per pass attempt. in that game. So, it's not like he was airing it out all the time either.
First two, how about that? Double Stroud, Nico Collins. That was a 4th and goal. Good to see Nico healthy. Stroud, 6 of 8 passing, 44 yards at last check. Meanwhile, we got a heavy slate of games for you on NFL Network today. I know everyone's watching this Cleveland Philadelphia game. Keep it on. We got Niners and Raiders running over Giants, hosting the Jets, Cardinals, Broncos, Jags, Saints. Tomorrow, we'll see.
December when it's 20 below zero and miles an hour.
So Cornelius Lucas is in the medical tent right now.
Looks like they may have moved.
It's going to be 3rd and long and go.
False start. Offense
I'm glazing. Are you fucking serious? I just said positive things about Dylan Gabriel. The same way I was very positive about Shedeur Sanders when he looked good. Y'all need to get a fucking grip, grow fuck up sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, damn. Honestly.
Hey, Cam Thomas, great name. Sleeping's my dog.
Ah, love that. 3rd and goal.
They
McCoy.
send an all-out blitz, and McCourt beats it. And it's Cam Mitchell that got beat in the slot. It's Cam Mitchell that got beat in the slot. Another year, another shout out for Arizona. Oh, roughing the passer. All right. Cheers to a great year for Cleveland football, Cleveland channel. Let's get to 50K. Yeah. Appreciate that, Zachary. Appreciate that. Cam Mitchell, man.
The defensive back, Cameron Mitchell. You got to know the ball's going to come out quickly, so you want to be able to take away inside leverage, take away all those quick slants.
Looks like Cornelius Lucas got hurt.
Push it off that receiver, and he's a little bit too far outside, and so it's an easy pitch and catch for the Eagles.
Well, Nick Sirianni says, I know that Jake Elliott can make PATs. Let's do a little 2-point conversion work. Johnson on the hand.
Nothing.
Swallowed up. Julio Cuara, a couple of sacks last week, wraps it up. And so the Eagles have their first offensive touchdown of the game. We'll see in Dylan Gabriel how he runs the
So Browns defense gives up a touchdown there. Cam Mitchell gets beat. I'm going to say this again. Cam Mitchell is not going to be the slot corner if they have any other options, because this is bad. So, yeah, add Cam Mitchell to the same list that Deontay Johnson's on. I think that's bad. He's the DB version of 7-Eleven. That motherfucker is always leaving people open. Nah, that don't work. I can come up with something better than that. I can come up with a better insult. How about the turnovers, though? I think 12 looks better. I think you could say Shedeur definitely didn't turn the ball over twice, right? I think Dylan, the interception, still shouldn't throw it. It's partly on Deontay Johnson. And the same's true with the fumbled snap, right? Like, it didn't happen, but, it's partly on both of those guys. If we're looking at it from, like, operating the offense, getting through progressions, getting the ball where it's supposed to be, I think both quarterbacks did fine there, but I think Dylan did a little bit better. So, it depends on what you're focusing on. But right now, both look like solid young prospects for the Cleveland Browns. Both look like guys that are developing well. And both look like guys who are encouraging when you see them on the field. So, I don't really think it matters who looks better right now. I think that's going to be a matter of opinion. Obviously, if you're a Shedeur fan, you've already bought the jersey. You're heavily invested in saying Shedeur looks better. But, you can see why the coaching staff likes Dylan. You can see why the coaching staff likes Shedeur from what we've seen in the preseason. I think that's fair. Dylan supercomputer pick 6 Gabriel. He is what we thought he was? I mean, I guess if we're just going to act like nothing else happened and that pick six is 100% on him, but that's really not the case. And I'm going to be clear here. If Shedeur Sanders threw that pick six, I would be saying the same exact shit, because when Shedeur had mistakes or things that looked like mistakes that were clearly on the wide receiver, I brought it up. I'm not going to come here looking for confirmation bias. I told you guys that in the morning video. If you're looking for confirmation bias, you found the wrong place. Go find the Shedeur Sanders We Love 12 YouTube channel. Go watch them. They'll give you all the confirmation bias that you can eat. If you want to eat that, that's cool on you. But I'm not serving that here, right? We're just talking about what's happening in the game. There's good, there's bad. We're talking about the actual reality of what's going on. We're not looking for confirmation bias. We're trying to see more out of this. Dylan gets a 2-minute drill here. Let's see how he does.
That's what you'd expect here in the 2-minute drill. Be efficient, distribute the football all around, and then operation. That's a big part of it.
Chat, let me ask you. So that's a negative play there. Chat, let me ask you, does DG get no effing credit for the touchdown drive because he didn't throw the damn touchdown? What is wrong with you? If you're arguing. Again, man, I'm happy both the quarterbacks look good so far. Like, is that a bad thing? Or is that being a bad Browns fan, is being happy that both quarterbacks look good?
Gabriel looking across the middle.
Nice throw by Dylan to get out of a 2nd and 15. That's going to be a big chunk play here. And again, that's like his 3rd or 4th chunk play throw there on a long situation. He stood in the pocket, he's dealt. Kevin hates turnovers more than anything. Bad for D. Yeah. But I think he's understanding if you turn the ball over in the preseason, though. Like, it's not like it's the regular season. He'd be pretty unforgiving if you start turning the ball over in the regular season. But what we saw there was Deontay ran a bad route, and that screwed up everything. You see how 89 ran that? That's
Deep, he gets behind.
but that screwed up everything. And then whatever happened on that snap, way to find a passing lane.
Davis gets into that second window. A lot of times, those throws happen.
Again, we don't have to pit these two against each other. You can be happy that both are successful because they both play for the Cleveland Browns. Okay? Being upset, if you're not a Browns fan, if you're just here for Shedeur, and you're expecting me to give you confirmation bias, I'm telling you this, I'm a Browns fan. I don't really give a fuck about who's playing good. I just want the players to play good. So, again, not going to give you that, but not just going to be here talking about number 12, right? Going to talk about other players too, whether they play good, play bad. But, you got to give Dylan credit. He's made some nice throws today. He's had some moments where you're like, hey, you would want him to clean it up. We're down to our 3rd tackle already. All right, 1st and 10. Good chip block. Way to navigate. It's just behind.
Deontay Johnson.
I just don't trust that Deontay was at his landmark anymore.
Big for the Browns receiver who's coming all the way from the left side. Pretty fortunate for the Browns that the throw by Gabriel was low and in the dirt. I think maybe even intentional so he doesn't get his receiver blown up and potentially cause an interception.
Gabriel, 11 of 16 so far for a $126 and that pick 6. On 2nd and 10, looking.
Let's get rid of it.
Throws incomplete.
Yeah, just dirt it. Just dirt it. That's fine.
Looking for Thrash.
It's probably a hold. It's probably coming back 10.
Maybe Thrash thought that Gabriel was going to run.
Looks like he may have been trying to block for his quarterback. Not sure if Gabriel saw, but he had Deontay Johnson who turned.
I think he saw Deontay. I don't think he trusts him anymore.
Break free towards the end zone.
Pass interference, offense number 80, 10-yard penalty.
2nd and long here. Yeah, Jamari thought he was going to run. I don't blame Jamari for that one.
Hammy. He ain't running anywhere today.
No, I don't think he was going to take off. And you wonder with that hamstring, when he's moving to his right, remember he's a left-handed quarterback. That would have been a really tough throw as you're running to the right to try to find Deontay Johnson as he's scrambling down the field. Jamari Thrash just trying to help his quarterback out there, but just a little bit too quick.
Still 2 timeouts left for the Browns on 2nd and 20. That's
Good throw.
Brendan Boots. Heels
Ooh,
down
good
to
catch.
35.
Good throw. All right, 3rd and 10. Manageable now.
Not yet, because you still got 2. Remember, it's going to be 3rd down here, so you don't want to use your timeout because you're worried about if not, you don't pick it up, you give the Eagles time to get the ball back and score.
Gabriel
Gotta get rid of it.
drops it down.
All right, hit the
We're
timeout.
going to be well shy of.
Are we going to go for it, or are we just going to kick the field goal?
Short game.
Probably kick the field goal.
That'll mean that Dustin Hopkins will get to
Yeah.
practice his field goal duties yet again.
That's fine.
Looks like the Browns are going to be happy to
Way to get points out of it, right? 2-minute drill. You want to get a field goal attempt. What kind of field goal attempt are we getting?
Go out there and give an opportunity on 4th down to make a play.
Yeah.
What's this win here?
That's a successful 2-minute there.
First of all, he doesn't want an 18-18 tie. Secondly, he wants to make sure that we are getting ample use of our special teams unit. We had a bad snap earlier. Dustin Hopkins missed a kick last week, coming off a tough season in 2024, and that's exactly why he's sending Andre Schmidt into the game.
And a couple low snaps here already in this game from our long snapper, so I'm sure he's also thinking, you know, it'd be nice to get some.
Okay, we giving Andrew Schmidt a chance to kick something. All right, let's see what's up.
It's not
Kicking competition.
worse about your field goal operation.
This is tough. This is a
Former All
50, 49-yarder.
Rosa Award winner.
This is what?
Nick Sirianni, I see you.
He's feeling the
49-yarder?
big moment about to happen right here with the pressure on the Browns long snapper and their kicker to convert. So he's going to go with the icing. I like it. On a 99-degree day, it's going to be a little tricky to ice him. But as I'm watching a little kid that's going bananas in the crowd with his shirt off, dripping sweat.
Well, next year, wait for our preseason schedule in Saskatchewan.
Oh,
We have a game up there. Did you know that?
yeah, I'll be bringing my parka. I made a note. But next time I go to Canada, even in the summer, bring my parka.
I think we're scheduled to play the Rough Riders. From 49 yards out.
That's
gets
good.
up and splits the uprights.
That's clean.
All right, Andre Schmidt. Wait
All right, Mr. Schmidt. Let's go, Mr. Schmidt. UFL kicker theory still alive. Chat, still alive. We are thriving in the UFL kicker theory that the UFL develops better kickers than the NFL. All right. So, what have we learned in the first half of this preseason game? Understanding that it's a preseason game here, right? So, you know, certain things you can see a lot out of, certain things you don't really take too much out of. I think Dylan has operated the offense pretty well. You know, they came out of it, 3 scoring drives, good 2-minute run. So there's some stuff there that I think he's done well. The interception, obviously, very avoidable. I think he was thinking that the tight end was going to keep running. But then Deontay Johnson runs this guy right in there. So it's kind of like there's a blame pie there, right? Dylan shouldn't have thrown it. So he eats like 55% of the blame there. So it's his fault. But Deontay should have been nowhere near his man should have been nowhere near that ball, right? Still, just throw it out of bounds, you know, eat it. The play's dead. Learn to live another day. And don't put the ball at risk. And then the fumbled snap, I really don't know who the fuck to blame on that one. It looks like I'm just going to blame Dylan because he had the ball in his hands. So, yeah, 2 turnovers, not great. But I think you've seen some stuff while he was out there that was pretty encouraging from Dylan Gabriel, right? I think the arm strength looks pretty solid. You know, I think the arm, he spins it a lot better than you think. He's able to zip the ball downfield. He's thrown a couple of just darts in this game downfield that were very impressive. You know, the stuff that they talked about where, hey, look, the guy's processing well. He's getting through the offense. You're seeing that, right? It seems like the game's moving pretty slow to him. Same stuff that we were pretty impressed with Shador with. I think he's doing that at a bit more of a higher level because he's finding the middle of the field, intermediate area a lot better than Shador was last week. Still got to balance that out with who they're going against, who he's playing with. I think Shador probably had better competition that he was going up against. Dylan and Shador both going to play. They're both rookies. They're not really competing with each other. They're just in each other's way. I don't hate Cam, but Cam Mitchell is gone. Yeah, Cam Mitchell got to go. We'll get to the bad there in a second. I think so. Overall, with Dylan, there's been some good, there's been some bad. I think it leans slightly towards better than worse with him. Let's talk about Amani Marshall. I thought he looked good. Jamari Thrash, I think he's looked good. Gabriel seems more dynamic for better or worse. I don't know if I would say dynamic. Here's what I'll say. Shador's big chunk plays came a bit out of structure, right? The big throw to Luke Floria. And then I think the backside dig in the end zone was a really solid one. But yeah, Shador had the big chunk play come out of, being out of structure slightly. Dylan's able to get some chunk plays within the structure of this offense, which I do think is intriguing. We clearly don't need Pickett. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. Let's do some deductive reasoning here, right? And again, understand, I'm not a Kenny Pickett guy. But let's do some deductive reasoning here. If Shador looks good when he's out there and the team looks well coached, if Dylan looks good when he's out there and the team looks well coached, and if Joe Flacco looks good when he's out there, at least in these joint practices, and the team looks well coached, I think you have to consider that work might be transferable to the fourth guy in that room, Kenny Pickett. If Dylan looks this good, I wonder what Kenny does look like. I want to see him out there at this point. I don't know if I want to see him out there so badly that I'd roster him if he doesn't play in the preseason, but I do want to see him play next week. Rich B says, looks like we're going to carry 4 quarterbacks. Yeah, I don't think it's crazy. I really don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's crazy. But all in all, there was some good stuff to take away. The defensive line looked really good when they were out there. Fun stuff. All right. There are a couple players who are making the list, as in they look like shit. Deontay Johnson. I've not been somebody who's been optimistic on the probability that this experiment was going to work. I will readily admit that, right? I have not been on the side of people who think this is going to be amazing. He was always sold as the off the field, well, not even off the field, the in the building, not in the game stuff is bad, but the tape is really good on Deontay, right? He can play football. That was what we were sold with him. What the problem we're having with Deontay Johnson right now is that the tape is dog shit for him right now. Like, this is supposed to be his bread and butter. The tape is dog shit. It is garbage tape for Deontay Johnson. He is putting out cut me please tape. He is begging the Browns to cut him with how he is playing out there. Clearly. Anthony Latham says chance of signing Asante Samuel Jr. Probably not going to do it. Probably not going to. If they would have done it, if they were going to do it, they would have done it by now, in my opinion. But the tape has been dog shit for him, Deontay Johnson. It's been bad. It's been cut me please tape. And again, the interception, right? Like, again, Dylan shouldn't throw it, but why are you down there? There's no reason for him to be down there in the flat, bringing his man to the tight end. There was no reason for that to ever happen, right? But that's what happened. Bad tape. Bad tape from Deontay Johnson. I don't know what's going on with him, but that's pretty bad. I would say, who else is? Oh, Cam Mitchell. Cam Mitchell is not going to be the slot corner, man. He's played himself out that job. He's been getting cooked all camp by guys who aren't going to make this team. Then he goes up against Carolina and gets cooked in camp by more guys who aren't going to make the team. And then right now against Philadelphia's guys who aren't going to make the team, he's getting cooked. Don't know what to do with that. Actually, I do know what to do with that. Not play him, right? It's been a bad camp. He's a pretty solid special teams guy, but it's been a horrific camp for him. Maybe he's injured or something. I don't know if we give up on him entirely, but man, it's bad. And I like that Mr. Schmidt made that kick. 50-yard field goal. That was nice, That was nice. So overall, I would say up and down in this preseason game, right? Right now you have the third team defense in, so I'm not really tripping on anything that happens on that side of the ball anymore. I think Dillon gave you some up and down moments, but definitely showed off the arm strength there in a way that, I don't think a lot of people thought was there, including myself. And I think he's been a lot better from the pocket, less reliant on rolling out than I anticipated. Now, can he do that in the regular season against starters? That's a huge question mark. I don't know. But I didn't think it would look this encouraging watching him today. So, it was encouraging to see that, from him. So, yeah, I would say I'm pretty happy so far with what you've seen. And, this is another outing where I feel pretty good about the team leaving it, given everything we heard about what they were doing in joint practice. Y'all still arguing Dillon Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders in the goddamn chat? We doing all this arguing. Dillon Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, Dillon Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders. Is Joe Flacco going to start? Looks like cutting Hewlett might actually be a problem. I mean, he can't just cut somebody because they have one fuck up in the preseason game. You know what I mean? So let's get the guy more of a chance than that. How do you guys feel? You guys feel good about what you've seen so far? I'm pretty encouraged. Like I find it hard to think because I'm thinking in my mind, if Shedeur went out there and looked like that, I'd be pretty encouraged. Like if he did the exact same stuff that Dillon Gabriel did, I'd be pretty encouraged with Shedeur. The bar's a little bit higher for Dillon, so I'm not as encouraged as I would have been for that. But I'm no longer completely cynical about Dillon Gabriel. Just let it, and like my advice to Shedeur fans, just let things happen, right? A lot of y'all are very religious and talk about let God's plan play out. Well, then listen to what y'all be talking about. Let it play out. It'll sort itself out. Dillon's going to get some time. Shedeur's going to get some time. If Shedeur is meant to be a starter in the NFL, like the good book says, it'll happen. So what we tripping about, right? What we really tripping about? It'll happen if it's supposed to. Still hoping we bring in Rodrigo Blankenship. You love that man, Anthony. I think that's the second time you brought him up to me in chat. That's the glasses guy, right? He was in the UFL, I think, this year. But Seriously, though, you know? As much as people talk about all of the religious stuff around him, just let it play out. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Seriously. It's going to happen. He's going to play. You said Goggles was the top UFL kicker. I know. I'm aware. He kicked in the dome, though, right? He was with the Battlehawks. I'm encouraged with Jamari Thrash. Y'all know that was my guy, man. Jamari Thrash was one of my guys. I'm super excited to see him look good. Super excited. All right, so it looks like we're going to get Tyler Huntley the rest of the way. We have seen everything we're going to see from Dylan. We're back from halftime.
But all of those two plays, he was sharp. He was very impressive. And we're hoping we get an opportunity here to watch him a little bit more in the third quarter to continue to build on that great first half that he had.
Well, whenever Gabriel
Q Rules collab with G. Bush anytime soon. Go Browns. G. Bush's schedule is super busy these days, so we'll see. I am going to be on Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, though, I believe on Wednesday. So if G. Bush is on that day, then we'll be able to chop it up. But I will be on UCSS on Wednesday, so I get to talk to him. And before anybody goes crazy, G. Bush is my guy. That's my friend. He's one of the first people to put me on radio, first people to give me real opportunities. So I don't care how much you think he's been going too far on the Shador thing. That's my guy. I'm not talking shit about him. Like, that's my guy. Okay? That's bro. That's bro to me, man. So don't be talking crazy. Rich B says we still need a slot. Yeah, I would like to see us try other corners in the slot at this point.
66. That's the rookie center, Drew Kendall. His pops Pete played a dozen years in the NFL, starting almost 200 career games up front.
Pete Kendall, I believe, a Badger.
I think he went to Boston College.
Couldn't be making that up. Now I know. He hosted me on one of my visits, and that's why I thought he was a Badger.
Did you visit at
He
Boston
was
College?
not a Badger. No, NFL visits.
Oh, NFL
Yep,
visit.
yep.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Coached by George Warhawk, the great offensive line coach we both had.
Browns with a blitz, and it's a connection. Marshall.
All right, it'd be second and like 7.
Gain of 9.
I was testing you there about Pete Kendall and what college you went to. I'm glad you passed.
Well, am I right?
You're always right.
No, well, I mean, we have to check it.
No, I think you are right. Now that the brain is working finally after that long halftime break, putting the pieces together. Great offensive lineman out of Boston College, technician.
Second and 6. Hand off for.
All right, third and short here. We got a super chat from Ray Wags. Well, Q, this is the kind of chat I thought we would have last week. I know. Last week was nice. Everybody was all positive. We get essentially another good performance from a rookie quarterback, and chat's toxic. Like, there's not much different this week from last week except for the existence of Dylan Gabriel. And, like, there's nothing about Dylan Gabriel that's polarizing. And honestly, it's nothing about Shador Sanders that's polarizing. It's how people act about those two, specifically Shador Sanders, that creates the polarization. And it's not anything that either of those guys are going out their way to create, you know? And I think that's the unfortunate part of all of this. Good pressure by Cam Thomas there.
All over the place.
You know? And that's the unfortunate part. Like, people are getting dug in and have all these strong opinions about what they think Shador is as a person or what they think Dylan is as a person. Both these guys seem like they're enjoying the experience. They're learning a lot. And they seem like great teammates, you know? So why are we acting so crazy about it? You know, they're not acting crazy. Shador is not acting crazy. Dylan's not acting crazy. Why are we losing our minds and acting like assholes every time something positive happens for the other guy? They're not. You know? Makes you think.
False start. Offense number 43. 5-yard penalty. Still fourth down.
A little lethargic there coming out of the tunnel at halftime. Sometimes you make a few switches. You're talking about a lot of stuff. You're trying to wolf down some PB&Js and some oranges.
Is that true?
Get some electrolytes, especially on a hot day like this. Oh, yeah. Put the fuel back in your body, and your brain hasn't yet got back up to game speed when you get out there, especially if you're getting out just a little bit late.
I saw you chow down 6.5 DBJs during halftime.
For this game.
Yeah, it's impressive. Ben boots it away. Larvidan from his 13.
I like 84, man. 84. I got to put his name down, too, on the good list. 84, Gage Larvidan. 80, Jamari Thrash. Dylan's number 5. I'll put him on the good list. Who else should be on the good list of players today? Y'all tell me. How is a pick 6 and a fumbled handoff a sack? Because we actually watched the fucking game, Benjamin. That's how it's good. Because if you watch the game, you're like, oh no, he did some good stuff. And Benjamin, if Shador has 2 turnovers in a similar fashion, you would be in chat, copping please, talking about how it's the coach's fault that Shador fumbled the snap. So stop fucking lying to me like this, bro. Like, this is the craziest stuff that y'all be doing. You know damn well if Shador Sanders had this same exact game, you'd be like, oh, but Q don't want to talk about them throws. Q don't want to talk about how he got out of 3rd and 15, but now you want to talk about the fumbles when you know damn well if that was your guy, you'd be focused on other stuff. We talked about the fumbles. We talked about the interception and whose fault it was and broke it down. Had reasonable dialogue about it. But the truth is, it's the preseason, so it doesn't really matter that much if you have procedural fuck-ups like that. I wouldn't hold it against Shador Sanders. I'm not holding it that much against Dylan. What you want to see is what they do in the actual game portion when they're throwing the ball, and when they both are throwing the ball, both look good. What the fuck is wrong with saying both of them look good? How is that a bad thing? Seriously, how is this controversial? How is me saying both quarterbacks looked good controversial? Everybody else is saying it. How is this controversial? Stop being stupid. If you like Shador Sanders, you just don't gotta talk right now. That's it. Just wait till he plays next week, and if he balls out next week, talk shit. I don't care. But why are you trying to tear down something that you would build up if it were your guy that did it? Makes no sense to me. The X button is my favorite chat member. I don't know what that even means, brother. Jesus Christ, just be normal.
Things that you wanted to see from him, his accuracy, his decision making, and move the ball right down the field every time he got it.
Here, Denzel Ward and Denzel.
We should trade for a good veteran slot corner. I agree wholeheartedly. It's a huge hole in this defense.
Oh, it was fun. It was a great time, great competition. I mean, they just came back from winning the Super Bowl, so I was just looking forward to the matchups and to better my game and get them better as well. But I enjoyed it though.
The words that Kevin Stefanski used are measuring stick. Why is it so important to go against a team like the Eagles right now?
No, it's big. Like I said, they just won the Super Bowl, so it kind of shows.
There is a reason Dylan played less. Is there a reason Dylan played less than Shador?
I think it was a great job.
Well, remember, when Shador went out there, they had just signed Tyler Huntley 3 days before. So they were pretty concerned about putting Tyler Huntley out there for extended time. So I imagine since Tyler's been here for a week, they're more comfortable letting him take the half instead of, making Dylan go out there, play another quarter, especially when he's still working off a hamstring injury.
One of the two. When you play with a teammate like that, what does that do for you?
It means a lot. Grant, he always got my back. I got his back. And that's my favorite safety out there. So we're just looking to be the best in the world. That's our goal. And help lead this football team to get some wins.
Denzel,
All right, we got about a half of peak preseason football right here.
Nah, I don't think I let my play do all the talking. So as long as we get some wins, that's what I'm trying to do. Help my team to be the best.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
What a career he has had so far. 4-time Pro Bowler, the number 4 overall pick back in 2018. Nice tackle, by the way, by Smile London, one of the rookies that the Eagles have in this draft class to prevent the Browns from continuing a drive. And so, Corey Bojorquez, let's dust him off, get him out of here. Kicks it away. It's a Robin Short punt.
Bad punt by Corey Bojorquez. This is crazy baggage that comes with 12.
Will
I mean, like, sure, that baggage comes with him, but if Shador could be a starting level quarterback, the baggage is worth it, right? And I think he can be a starting level quarterback. We see about Dylan Gabriel, but I think, what you saw from both of them is good. And honestly, dog, any quarterback's going to come with a level of baggage. They're not Browns fans for real. What grade would I give Dylan Gabriel? I say Shador B+. I give Dylan a B. I give him a B. The 2 turnovers, I don't think either of those were like egregiously his fault as much as it was like, I wish you made a better decision to avoid it. I thought some of the throws were very impressive for Dylan. But Shador was able to finish drives with touchdowns a lot more consistently than we saw. Dylan was not able to get into the red zone, right? I mean, the end zone. So I would give Shador from last week, I think I gave him a B+ or somewhere around that range. I give Dylan a B. Either way, I'm encouraged with what we've seen from the quarterback room.
Could you tone down the creepiness? Sorry. Did you really think?
This makes me feel a lot better about this team developing a quarterback going forward, because what we saw to DTR and Watson last year was just not encouraging. So I think that's the big takeaway I have from this. It's like, hey, they were able to get 2 young quarterbacks out there back-to-back weeks and have those guys look good. That shows a lot for how this coaching staff is going about with development. And I think that's a good thing for the team overall, because even if none of these guys are the answer, you're still going to have to develop the guy you draft next year, and you want to feel reasonably confident about your ability to do that. That's so funny. Even when I give Sanders a higher grade, it's not good enough. No, I thought Dylan made some really nice throws, though. I think that's what impressed me the most about Dylan was the 3rd and long, 2nd and long stuff. He dug the Browns offense out those holes consistently, which I thought was pretty nice. Oh wow. Pick six. Who is that? KJ Henry.
Yes, Kevin Stefanski. You and Browns fans have reason to celebrate with the defensive score.
What was that? Who was in that quarterback? Oh my God, that was Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Oh my God. Oh, Dorian. Oh, Dorian, when it's bad, brother. When it's bad, it's bad.
Coming, ball pops right up in the air. Those are the ones you got to be able to get down, take it all the way to the end zone. And everybody on the Browns sideline is pumped up after the huge play from the Browns defense.
Oh, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Oh, Lord. Oh, wow. Looks like YouTube didn't like my super chat since it skipped it. You must have said a no word. That's the only reason it skips it. Make sure I hit that like button.
Does it up on him. Beautiful job. We've seen Miles do that throughout the years, and that is just a wicked move.
Schmidt to kick it off. And the Browns with some good special teams coverage. Tom Jones in there. Aiden Huntington last week got a couple of special teams tackled.
No, the funny thing is that they took DTR out the game. Kyle McCord goes straight up the field, scores a touchdown. They take DTR back into the game, take Kyle McCord out, and DTR throws a pick six. Fascinating. And if we know DTR, man, that's going to lead to a spiral. He's probably not going to look good on this drive. Is there an odd man out? Should we keep all four quarterbacks? I think maybe Kenny Pickett.
On Philly's practice squad. Hey, we need a quarterback out here. Anybody? There we go.
Yeah, I think, they just put Kyle McCord in. I don't think DTR was supposed to be out there. DTR got that face. When DTR has that face specifically, he's about to spiral. DTR, the flame store, still throwing heat. Who gave him that nickname?
Gain of about 3. Time right now to check in with the DD Kinkawalla. The sideline report presented by Sugardale.
Yeah, we know that look. We know when DTR gets that look, it's about to be a bad day.
Here once again, he told us that he has never in his entire career had to purchase this many tickets. He's got a whole slew of high school friends that are children. So he said.
Someone said DTR is a good. Dragon said DTR is a good kid. I feel bad for him. Hey man, it's rough. It's rough, dog. It's rough.
A little bit cooler over there, I'm guessing, but maybe not. Big thought there. Donovan McMillan, a hard-hitting safety. A guy who went back-to-back 100 tackle seasons at Pitt. He's impressed Jim Schwartz and that defensive coaching staff this year.
Yep. He's impressed me today. He's been involved in a lot of big hits coming down with that safety position. Jim Schwartz, he loves those safeties that are going to make themselves felt by the offense. Really set the tone for the defense, and he's done that all day today.
Rare first down for the Eagles. Ball at the 40. Showing blitz. Robinson nowhere to go, swallowed up.
Nice.
Number 63 in there, along with Easton Mascarenas. On Briggs there as well.
So defense, yeah, they continue to swarm and continue to penetrate and cause a lot of problems for this blocking scheme for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Something they did all week long. I think the Browns, Jim Schwartz talked about it, being a measuring stick against the champs. What you can learn, that defense was not outmatched at all by that top-notch Philadelphia offense.
Pickett or rookies deserve more time next week.
Some room off the right side, gets a couple, brings in again on this.
Yeah, I think if Pickett can play, you got to play him a lot. I think honestly, you're probably split in the first half. Joe Flacco's going to get a couple drives. It's probably going to take up the whole first quarter, or you would hope. And then Kenny Pickett probably takes the rest of that first half. And then you split the second half. Shador Dillon, maybe. I don't know. How much do you think the upgraded quarterback play is due to switching from Deshaun's style offense to a Stefanski offense? I think that's playing a role. I think having people who are better at quarterback play also plays a role. But yeah, I think both of those factors are heavy here, right?
D'Anthony Bell made the team as an undrafted free agent in the secondary.
Like, obviously the team looks like they're comfortable with what they're doing. Nah, that pick six by DTR wasn't his fault. There's context to why he threw it.
Yeah, Jim Schwartz.
Are you saying that's the same thing, Benjamin, as what happened with Dylan Gabriel? Because if you're saying that a batted pass that goes behind DTR is the same thing as Deontay Johnson running a slot corner right into the flat, I would just have a fundamental disagreement with you on football. And I can't help you with that. I can't teach you. You know what I mean? I can't teach you if you ain't going to listen. Yeah, bad snap. And to be fair to DTR, it was a bad snap too. I'm looking at the replay right now. Bad snap, got hit as he threw. Yeah, this is bad. That's just, I mean, horrific luck on DTR's part. Yeah, high snap. He gets control of it. Left tackle completely gives up on the play. Doria gets smacked. The ball comes out and lands right in the hands of an edge rusher. Yeah, man, DTR might have the worst luck of any quarterback I've seen. That was just like everything that could go wrong on that play for him went wrong. Holy shit. Oh, wow. Yeah, literally everything that went wrong could have went wrong there for DTR. But that's happened so much with DTR throughout his career, right? We're talking about 3 seasons of evidence that just happens to him. Just witness DTR's last NFL snap, I fear. Nah, he'll get other snaps in like preseason games for sure. I don't think he's done in the league, but I don't know. He might get cut. He might. It's tough. It's tough for the guy. It's tough for the guy. And then he got benched. And Kyle McCord honestly looks better than him. Yeah, it's tough for him. He's probably the odd man out there in Philly.
Let's go places. Let's go to this rookie comparison. The third rounder, Gabriel, making his NFL debut 8 days after Shedeur Sanders did the same in Carolina. I think the refreshing thing for Browns fans is the operation of the offense looks really, really good under both guys.
Yeah, one of the big problems when you got rookie quarterbacks in preseason is they have a hard time getting the play into the huddle, getting guys lined up. It looks like Ned, the first reader out there, but both those guys, Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel, have done a great job from an operation standpoint. They look cool, calm, and poised in the pocket. They make great decisions.
That's Gage again, man.
Passes and really, really effective and efficient offensive drives.
Didn't Joe Flacco throw several pick sixes in 2023 season? Still won games for us. He's talking. Okay, all right. If you want to argue with Benjamin, don't do it through a fucking super chat. Right? Like I'm not reading you guys' arguments. So that's it. Not reading any more argument super chats back and forth between y'all. Oh boy. That was not a successful play. After today, what's your QB depth chart? It's probably the same, right? Probably the same. Honestly, to me, how I look at the room, Kenny Pickett's the odd man out. Joe Flacco's the starter. You can go with Dylan Gabriel. Why does that keep happening? I got to look into that. It might be a bad plug. We know Tyler's probably not making the club. So the way I look at the quarterback room is this. Joe Flacco's going to start the year. Then I imagine Dylan Gabriel's going to be the backup. Shedeur will be the emergency quarterback, but I think Shedeur's the guy you feel the best about becoming a long-term starter with. So if you play Joe Flacco ages out, and then Dylan does not look like a starter when you put him out there, then you throw Shador, you give him, a quarter to half the season, and you see what you got there, and then you move on from there. 39 and 84 look good for roster spots. 39? Oh, you're talking about Monty Marshall. It's going to be tough because Jerome Ford, Quinshon Judkins, Dylan Sampson, so they would have to keep 4 running backs, and he has to beat out Pierre Strong. But it's going to be tough for him. But I think he's earned a roster spot somewhere. If not Cleveland, he'll be somewhere. All I know is that Dylan threw a pick 6. Besides that, how has he been? He looked pretty good. He had the one mistake with the pick 6. He also had a fumbled snap. But outside those 2 plays, he looked pretty good. And he was making some nice throws too, right? It wasn't all screens, getting out of 3rd and long situations. I think there was a lot to be encouraged with what you saw there. So, yeah, I think he looked good. And even a pick 6, I don't know, the more I look at that play, the more I'm thinking that's just on Deontay Johnson, period. Imagine how the end around and screen crazy Kevin is about to be with Isaiah Bond, Gage, Ford on the field at the same time. You're probably not going to see Gage Laverton on the field for the Cleveland Browns this season. But, yeah, you're definitely going to see, like, Jerome Ford. I don't know if you see that much of Isaiah Bond either. They seem to be – that's probably going to be a developmental decision there. But, yeah, look, they're going to run a ton of end arounds. We know. We know Kevin can't help himself. Yeah.
To be answered. First one coming courtesy of our Gabriel.
Oh, they're doing a Dylan Gabriel interview. Let's hear him.
First NFL action. Did you have fun out there?
I did. It was a lot of fun, a lot of learning for sure. But all things you can take with you, and just a pleasure to go play with the guys.
Okay, let's start with a lot of learning. What do you feel you took away from this?
Yeah, just the little details. We got to continue to harp on it. Just help each other out on that. But yeah, just that environment. You get out there, you get excited. You want to be aggressive, but you also got to be smart.
They've been blitzing a lot today.
Yeah, just seeing the guys coming together, and we're continuing to make steps and find an identity of what we are. I think it's a process within the preseason. You're learning that. This being my first time, going through it with a bunch of guys that are also going through it for the first time. So we're learning together, we're growing together, and we got a bunch of vets that got a clear vision of what we want to do.
Long, methodical first drive. Not doing anything more than what the defense is giving. Is that exactly how you scripted it?
I mean, maybe in the openers, we got through all our openers, so that's a positive. But I think consistently. I think everyone, all 11, are doing that. Just want to continue to create consistency.
We saw the leadership on the sideline immediately, the way you're talking to your wide receivers, your running backs. Why is that such an important part of who you are in your game?
Yeah, you got to talk. Quarterbacks got to talk to each other. His teammates. as part of the position, but it's also just who I am down to my core. Want to do it with people that I genuinely like it and have fun doing it with. So,
Bookie Watson with a couple of nice plays.
We're growing that. Still, just a short amount of time together, but we're trying to grow that as we go.
You gave us some
Nice batted ball. Was that?
how you tune out the noise and you don't let it infiltrate.
Is that 53?
Can you share that with
It's just part of it. There's entertainers and there's competitors, and I totally understand that. My job is to compete, and that's what I'm focused on doing. Of course, we're doing this big game, but it's something that I'll get used to, and just want to be the best team that I can and create an environment where we can all go do our best work. That's all I want to do.
I'll let you go since you're calling me out on that right there. But we have picked up a few Hawaii affiliates, Dylan, because of you. Another thing we talked about at length is representing the state of Hawaii. What does that mean?
Everything. Hawaii's special. A lot of people have done it before me. I'm just doing it right now. There's going to be a lot of guys after me. So I want to represent
Let it go.
in the right way.
There you go.
Humility and respect. And doing it on a big stage.
Really appreciate it. And get back to watching and studying. So Chris, he doesn't want to talk. He wants to see what's happening on the field.
I get it. You did a great job with him, and he has been a leader everywhere he has gone. He took over first team freshman year at Central Florida. Didn't look back until he broke his left clavicle. Then he
How do y'all feel about 1 o'clock preseason games? I like them. I like 1 o'clock preseason games. It feels more meaningful at 1 o'clock because it's like more or less the time you play an NFL game. I like 1 o'clock. I think more teams should do the 1 o'clock preseason game. And I hope the Browns continue to do these 1 o'clock preseason games. So I think it's actually good. What y'all think about 1 o'clock preseason games?
Showing that leadership on the sideline. Being checked. First half, he was out there. So, a lot about this guy. If you're a Browns fan, it's pretty easy to see why he has so many fans throughout the country, right? Because he's just always going about his business, doing things the right way. And even though this was a big moment for him, this was an important game. It never felt like it was too big for him. Operation was only good. Faced a little bit of adversity there, and was able to overcome that adversity. So I think he checked all the boxes. So I was fortunate to see him build Gabriel his first year. So,
couple of strong runs and gotten it up past the 20-yard line. So it'll be 3rd and short for the Browns. He admitted, listen, Junior Sanders and I are very different people, and it's not one's right and one's wrong. And I think that, unfortunately, that has kind of clouded this competition that they've had.
I always tell my kids, comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
If I'm a Browns fan, I'm just enjoying both these guys. They are very different. But even though I know Dan said there's entertainers and competitors.
Both of those, look, here's the thing that you can also say. Tyler Huntley is a legitimate backup quarterback in the NFL, right? Like he is a bona fide backup quarterback in the league. He's been a backup for a long time, and he was one of the better ones in Baltimore. I think it's a good sign that both of your rookie quarterbacks have looked significantly better than Tyler Huntley, right? Now, again, Tyler Huntley coming off short time, hasn't been with the offense that long, whatever. But, he's a veteran. He's been in these moments before. He's played in playoff games, right? Like Tyler Huntley, bona fide backup NFL player, right? These rookies have come in. Shedeur Sanders, first game in a long time. I thought he had a pretty good showing. Dylan Gabriel, dealing with the hamstring, first game in a long time. I thought he put up a pretty good showing, and I think it's clear that, okay, these guys are clearly better than Tyler. Now, obviously, that's the bar, right, with where you want them to be, but it's nice to see them both clear that bar where we're not saying to ourselves, hey, man, do we want to roster Tyler because he looks better? Like, we're not having to have those conversations, which, again, indicative of this team doing a much better job of developing this quarterback position than they did in previous years. Yeah, we're watching like DTR and Snoop Huntley right now. And both of these guys have been legitimate backups before. I don't know if DTR is legitimate, but DTR was the backup for the Browns last year. And look how much worse he looks than both Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders out there today.
Trying to dart his way out of the backfield.
Like, I would say both of these guys, even when DTR was looking good in the preseason, looks better than DTR did in the preseason. Yeah, so I think that's a sign for encouragement. I'm pretty happy with that.
Would rather be uninformed than misinformed, which means I am doing my best to block out the noise. How challenging is that for a rookie in the NFL?
So challenging. These are guys that grew up in the era of social media. And every single person that's out there right now grew up as a star in their hometown.
Apologies for not contributing often. Appreciate the consistent best content Browns on the platform. Keep it up. Looking forward to seeing what bag of snacks come out this year. I got the Cajun nuts, man. I got a whole 2 bags of them. We're gonna be good for the first. We should be good. We should be good for at least until the new year.
Eat the rat poison because it's only going to poison your brain and it's going to affect what I need to do on the field. And I said this a lot about my own career. Like, I had no time and no space in my little brain to think about all the other things and all the other opinions that were on the outside that didn't matter. The only opinions that mattered are your coaches and your teammates. Those are the things you want to focus on, and that's what you want to.
What is this stinky thing they're doing? You see that? They're doing this stink. I saw Jamari Thrash do it. This is like stinky celebration. That's very disrespectful. It's very disrespectful. Nick Chubb had a great day in Houston today. Love to see it. Happy for that. Happy for that for sure. We'll always have love for Nick Chubb.
He sees an opportunity in everything. And I feel like I'm the best member of our group to talk about this. He's also very, very pragmatic about his height. He knows, he said it'll forever be talked about, but he just makes sure that it's never been a limiting factor. He said life is about finding solutions to problems, and he insisted that certain teams value certain things. What we've heard from Kevin Stefanski, what we've seen from the Browns, is that
Mason Graham, honorary Islander. His family lives out there in Hawaii.
Okay, so now we've seen Shedeur Sanders have his shot at it, and Dylan Gabriel his shot at it.
When did he say that? Is that a real quote? Or are people making that up? Been a fan since you lived in CA. Wow, that's a long time. It's the OG videos. Love your content, most level-headed takes. Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't know. I feel like you're making that quote up. I don't think I heard him say that. I think you're making that quote up or like rephrasing what Dan Lanning said a couple of years ago.
Because there are some challenging decisions that the Browns are going to have to make. I mean, there's a lot of guys on this roster that could start on other teams. And as everybody knows, you get towards the end of training camp, you have to make tough roster decisions. I'm not saying that these guys are in any threat of being part of that decision making, but to carry 4 quarterbacks is unusual. I think they will do that, but you want to see where they shake out because the Browns want to see when Joe Flacco is named the starter, like you mentioned. Who's going to be that guy that they count on that's most ready?
Hey, did you hear Joe Thomas slip up there? So if you don't know, Joe Thomas has also been working with the coaching staff during camp. He's been kind of an honorary offensive line coach for a couple of days. And he just said when Joe Flacco is named the starter.
Season ago, after
Not if.
lost seasons after being a first-round pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so we'll see exactly what it all brings, but you imagine Joe Flacco will be named the starter in the near future. Our immediate future, quick break. Then we got the 4th quarter in Philly.
Music up, doors off, shades up. This is how summer rolls.
Let me pull that up real quick. Njoku has never owned a shirt. Like, legitimately, I do not believe David Njoku has ever owned a singular shirt in his life. I'd be surprised. I'd be seriously surprised. That dude is allergic to mixed fabric. The only shirt I've ever seen him wear is the Browns uniform. And that's a jersey. It's not a shirt. So, well, I guess you could call it a shirt. Okay, let's see. Can I pull up the email from here? Live stream today. If you have technical issues, get the quick response and help bot. Landscape mode. Post game reaction. All right, let me make sure that's in the tags there for BR. We got a super chat here from BM Browns. Q have been subbed since 2016. Thanks you for keeping a level head throughout all these years, even when I disagree with you. I know you're being real. I try to just be honest. Pierre Strong just broke off one. Oh, Pierre Strong just broke off a huge one.
The 20, inside the red zone, pushed out by Tristan McCullum.
Appreciate you.
Game finding holes. Here he's going to be able to have a huge hole off the right side. Splits right there like the Red Sea, and then he does a great job pressing the ball towards the end zone, drawing some of those defenders in, and then whoop, bounce it right to the outside and showing a little bit of speed. But I think
nice job.
On a day like this, probably not enough electrolytes in those hands.
Hey, Pierre Strong. Strong showing from him.
Gain of 54
Q, what mall do you shop at? Next hat is on me. I got this from Strongsville Mall when I was in Cleveland for camp.
The dog.
It's the finish, not the finish line. It's the Lids locker room specifically, not the Lids itself, but the Lids locker room. It's out near like the ice thingy.
You're gonna have to step up on the other side of Jerry Jeudy.
And you may wonder, why is he starting out there? This is a game, and there's not really many starters out there, but having a chance to talk to Joe Black.
4 o'clock game would have been better for my schedule. Splitting the game next week with the week 0 college football games is tough, but I don't mind the 1 p.m. starts. I agree. That could be tough. That could be tough.
But put him out here against some of the backups for the Eagles and give him some moments where maybe you can make some catches and continue to take those strides in the direction that they want to take to be able to feature as a receiver for them. And also, by the way, one thing that nobody would notice unless you watch the O-line film like I do, but he's one of the best pocket receivers that I've ever seen. And we talk about for the Browns this season, how do they find their path to having a great season? Obviously, we know defense is going to be a big part of it, getting back to
you got to go for it.
In the NFL, a couple years after being the #1 defense in the NFL, they're doing that right now. Joint practices, they were giving the Eagles offensive line fits all week. But then running the football, leaning on a dominant run game. You can't have a dominant run game unless you have willing receivers that want to block. Cedric Tillman is a guy like my good buddy Andrew Hawkins, who was always willing to stick his nose in there. And those are the blocks that spring those running backs for big runs down the side.
All right, big 4th and 2 here. I think Gabe's got to get off the line here. No flag.
Finally, looking, flying, incomplete. It was in between receivers, including Tate McDonald.
I thought Gabe was on in the neutral zone too. He's got to get out that space. Is it going to be a roughing? Yeah, okay. I wasn't tripping. Yeah, he was definitely in the neutral zone. I thought so. Yeah. Yeah, so Gabe was definitely lined up in the neutral zone. I was surprised they didn't throw the flag immediately. That was a pretty late flag for that. Ready for another season? Q. Wife wants to know where you got the Guardians at. Got it at the Lids locker room at Strongsville Mall. You got the pin too. The pin was also from the Lids locker room in Strongsville Mall. They should pay for a brand deal. If you sell hats and you want to work something out with me, DM me. There's some very, you know what? There are just some very unstable people in chat right now. Like, there's some very unstable people in chat. All caps raging. This is not an all caps rage worthy moment. There's no reason for anybody to be all caps raging. So if you see somebody all caps raging, don't engage with them. Treat it like you were at the gas station or if you're at the grocery store. And if somebody starts yelling at the grocery store or gas station, you're going to just not react to that person and act like they're not there, because why would you feel the need to interact with them, right? That's strange. Do the same thing, but on the internet. You know, if you see somebody in there all caps rage when there's no all caps rage going on right now, just treat them like you would treat a unstable person at a grocery store that you don't know. You know, you don't got to engage. That person's not going to have a conversation with you. That person is either drunk or not okay. Not in a place to have a rational conversation about a football game. I think that's the number one thing the internet has done, is just like allowed people who would say stuff that you would ignore in parking lots to get platforms. En route says, how do you feel about the shade DG threw at number 12? I did not register it if he said it on the interview. If he did actually throw shade, then yeah, I think that's stupid and silly, and he shouldn't do that. I can't comment on something that I didn't really like catch when it happened, but I'll go through Twitter, see if we can get the clip.
You get to work with a Hall of Fame offensive lineman. Scott's got to work with me. I was on 6 teams in 5 years. I have a degree from Princeton, by the way, and was Kyle Brandt's roommate. Shout out Good Morning Football.
All right, I paid you to say that one. But it's still a great impression. Oh, man, that's great. Ross Tucker, what a great job he does. Sirius XM radio, calling games. He's got the great podcast. Just a great dude. I've got a chance to meet him throughout the years. And that guy just loves football. You know, he's a football guy.
Nick Hughes with a nice catch from DTR.
There's entertainers and there's competitors. I mean, yeah, he is using the Dan Lanning line on him, right? Yeah, it's probably not the wisest move, Dylan. That's stupid. That is absolutely stupid.
He still got it. He's
Both you guys.
Because you know it'd be bloody murder if Shador said anything similar there too to that. So they got to talk to Dylan about that. That's not appropriate.
impressed me, man. He's a fun guy to watch, right? Because of that high motor. He's reacted really quickly to what he sees, the blocking up front, and really telling him where to go. No missteps. He's just playing the game that you want to see from a linebacker. Lots of fun. Props to our guy, Nathaniel Watson.
Former SEC Defensive Player of the Year was Watson at Mississippi State. He had back-to-back seasons of over 100 tackles, 21 career sacks. As he played a lot on the ball. Still trying to learn how to play in space. Doing a great job this preseason.
Yeah, that's one of the things that he's been working hard on in training camp is you got to play in space a lot of times. And Jim Schwartz's defense, because he does like playing man coverage a lot of times on the outside. He likes to blitz So that creates a lot of green grass you got to cover when you're a linebacker or you're a safety.
Marvin trying to find some green grass in his own, turns the corner, gets
Dude.
in Eagles territory.
I hope Gage makes the team, man. He's been good.
That's where the Browns will start their next drive. He's probably ordering food. That's what he's doing.
Hopefully he's ordering something.
What do you do when things get tough? You don't give up. If you've been diagnosed with
All she asked was how he blocks out the noise, and that's how you responded.
It's not chemotherapy.
Yeah, he'll clarify that up. They'll ask him about it in his next press conference, and he'll get the opportunity to clarify it. But he's got to be careful, man, because look, I'm just going to tell you right now, that's going to lead the Chad Johnson, the Unc and Ocho show. That's going to lead that. That's going to be on Sports Center. You got to be smarter than that. You got to be more careful, right? Just don't even say anything that we even have to debate was shade or not. And that's debatably shade. Like you can't deny that it might be. So yeah, that's still on him. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he meant it in that way, but hey, you know how this media environment is. Ultimately, I don't think this is something that Shador is really going to be tripping on. Like, they'll have the conversation behind the closed doors. It's just going to be more fucking annoying for the public.
Who's got their lead land that I love? That is Aditi's beautiful daughter, Kaya, down the field.
Chris, she was born in Cleveland. I've been told that when you are born in Cleveland, there's no choices about your allegiances. You have to be a diehard Browns fan. That's what I was told.
Accurate, 100% accurate. And now, Nico, your son was not born in Cleveland.
He was not. He was born in Pittsburgh. His father's sugar, and he has decided that he is a Bills fan. He decided that when he was 2 years old.
What do I want to get done now?
He is now his second favorite player to Josh Allen.
Excellent.
Which is sort of fair.
Why not? If you're going to lose out, lose after the MVP. That's perfectly fine. Sal Canella, who's been busy here in the second half with a reception, Andre Sam, the tackle.
Seems like a smart lad there, right? You don't want to pick sides in case the estate comes into play.
Really?
Picking you over, or your siblings over you because of your allegiances, but just got to pick that safe pick.
Is this segment sponsored by Estate Planning?
I think it is. There's got to be a state attorney somewhere that really enjoys that. But no, the Buffalo Bills, Cleveland Brown adjacent, teams that have struggled to finally get that Super Bowl win, Rust Belt City. I can cheer for Josh Allen and the Bills. They're likable.
Flows downfield. The Browns have another reception as it's Larvadan getting inside the 20.
Nice little step up throw.
Really love the undrafted rookie free agent.
And it's Gage with another completion. Dylan might as well say rooted in substance. I don't know. I pray that this just doesn't become a thing.
Running to his left,
because it's stupid. It's so stupid.
The ball quickly to his man right in the middle for a great opportunity here for another scoring drive.
Hand off. Marshall, nowhere really to run as the Browns are in the red zone, presented to you by Milk Bone. Milk Bone, bringing more dog to the dog pound. Closing in midway through the final quarter of play. Excellent week of work. A couple of joint practices with the defending champs. Defense looks sensational. Both days, Mason Graham, the first-round pick, made some noise against this vaunted Eagles offensive line. That's a little dump down. Williams gained a few.
Hey, we're at 3rd down and 4.
Screen there, good timing. Funky Williams, Brown center, gets out in front. Ball is delivered perfectly, and sometimes the timing on those screens is tough because if the center gets out too soon.
Che, y'all want to talk about something else? Good Lord, let's talk about something fucking else.
Exactly at that right moment where the linebacker has no choice but to engage you in the block is key on those plays. So good job setting up the third manageable.
Huntley 10 of 13 for 71 yards. Looking to throw. He's going to get wrapped up and sacked. Plus a flag is down.
Might have got a face mask.
Backfield. Tyler Huntley not really happy with something.
It's going to be defensive holding.
I know you might have PTSD, but that's usually the area of offensive.
Being optimistic here.
Okay, that's all right. I hope you're right, personally.
I've actually never seen an offensive holding that was a correct call before. That's facts.
There are 2 fouls against the offensive play. Holding for 69.
Let's kick another field goal. Let's kick that field goal. Let's bring out Schmidt. Get Schmidt back out there.
He's one of the finest officials in the NFL, true professional.
All right, Schmidt, show me what you got.
Looks great out there.
So here comes Schmidt, the former All-American, first freshman to win the Grozo Award. That was back in 2018 at Syracuse. Feels like a lifetime.
First year with the cattle herd, 2018.
That's all. Oh, God, dude. Good shit, Schmidt. Good shit, Schmidt. How much better do you feel about the offense with Bond and Junkins? I mean, I don't think Isaiah Bond's going to be that much of a factor this year. I got to assume that you shouldn't expect much out of Isaiah Bond, like year one. But with Junkins, I do think that he's going to be a factor. So, yeah, I mean, like all the preseason, the joint practices, I feel a lot better about the offense than I did a couple weeks ago. All right, let's look at this. Let me pull up the clip, so we can actually react to it. Because somebody got video of the clip, so we can actually react to it. So let's pull that up and see if that was actually a big deal or if you guys are hyping me up about nothing. All right, we got the footage. We're about to play the footage. Oh my God, y'all were hyping me up about fucking nothing. That was it? She was asking him about a quote?
It's just part of it. You know, there's entertainers and there's competitors. And I totally understand that. Will you share that with everybody?
Oh, wait, let's hear Didi's question.
You gave us fabulous wisdom on how you tune out the noise and you don't let it infiltrate.
So the question is, you gave us some fabulous wisdom about how you tune out the noise. Can you give us that quote that you had earlier?
It's just part of it. You know, there's entertainers and there's competitors. And I totally understand that. My job is to compete. And that's what
That's a fucking nothing burger. No wonder I didn't hear it when it happened. It wasn't anything. How do you tune out the noise? Okay, yeah. That y'all again, I'll play it again, but that's nothing, dude. That's absolutely nothing. That's nothing. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'll tune it up so you guys can hear it a little better because the video is pretty quiet. So let's try to go advanced audio properties here. We're gonna crank this up by like 8 dB.
You gave us fabulous wisdom on how you tune out the noise and you don't let it infiltrate yourself. Will you share that with everybody at home?
Yeah, I think it's just part of it. You know, there's entertainers and there's competitors, and I totally understand that. My job is to compete, and that's what I'm focused on doing. Of course, we're doing this big game, but you know, something that I'll
If you want to watch it, it's on Twitter
just
too.
want to be the best team that I can and create an environment where we can all go do our best.
I should be able to hear it. Turn your volume up. I even mute my mic.
You gave us fabulous wisdom on how you tune out the noise and you don't let it infiltrate yourself. Will you share that with everybody at home?
Yeah, I think it's just part of it. You know, there's entertainers and there's competitors, and I totally understand that. My job is to compete, and that's what I'm focused on doing. Of course, we're doing this big game, but you know, something that I'll get used to, and just want to be the best team that I can and create an environment where we.
All right, so I think he's talking about there's entertainers, like he's talking about people who talk about sports for a living, and then there's competitors, people who play it. I think that's clearly what he's saying. Yeah, he wasn't talking about fucking Shador Sanders. He's talking about there are entertainers, people who talk about sports for a living, who are literally entertainers, the noise, and then there are competitors. That's not a big fucking deal. I'm sorry. That's nothing. That's nothing. That's nothing.
It was a good test. They have some great players up there, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis.
Yeah, Shador don't even got a podcast, dog. Like, what is... That's clear.
We get some good plays, we get some bad plays, but I think we competed really well.
You're looking for a slight if you're like, oh, he's talking about my boy. Like, I don't even think Shador hears that and thinks he's talking about Shador. Again, and ask yourself the question, why are you more sensitive about Shador Sanders than Shador Sanders? It's very strange.
2 days, like the 2 days you had.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
That's nothing. All right, y'all was all charged up about that.
Good vibe with the rainbow hands. The guys are going to go out there with go to war with. But it's basically that feeling, and you get that kind of like amped up, you know, your heart beating a little bit harder. Some of the guys go get some practice every day, so it's a good energy. But we all competed out there, and I think it was a good step for us.
Tell us a little bit about Joe Flacco back in the huddle after a year away. Is he any different?
No, it's awesome. It's just cool, Joe. You know, he's kind of close here, so
Yeah.
Yeah. Same kind of man.
It's peak preseason fucking nonsense. That's a controversy. I'm sorry. That's crazy. That's crazy. Honestly, if you think he's talking about Shador Sanders, like, it says more about what you think of Shador than anything else. Because why do you think he's an entertainer and not a competitor? Like,
I know he took care of his body this offseason.
I know if I were Shador, I wouldn't assume that I'm an entertainer or that people are talking about me as an entertainer.
League, and that's, I think, the Matrix stick of a great opportunity. So it's kind of
Yeah. Again, if you're charged up about this, it's like, hey, bro, why are you more charged up about the person that you think got slighted? Just think about that.
He did a great job motivating and teaching us some players. You know, no one quite does it like Joe Thomas, but it was awesome to see him at work teaching them some other ways.
I will tell you that Joe Thomas just said that he counts his lessons every morning, that he doesn't have to face Myles Garrett every day.
I say, I'm glad he's on my team because the guy makes some crazy plays. He was very impressive in this joint practice, too.
And on that interception, we'll have to let you go. But thank you, as always, for the time.
Thanks for having me.
Your buddy. And your buddy that you highlighted at the beginning of the day.
Defense 52, line over the neutral zone.
Ah.
Fortunately, the interception by Nathaniel Watson will not count because KJ Henry, who had a pick six earlier, was lined up in the neutral zone. But nice job by Nick Needham to get it started. Then Watson.
Yeah, I need to see Nick Needham out there playing slot.
A lot of times you say you're on the defensive side of the ball because you don't have any hands. He disproved that theory.
1st and 5 for the Eagles. Ford, Quincy, throws, looks for Latu, ball knocked away. That's McMillan again, and Aditi Tinkabwala was talking about how his college coach was chatting him up and saying he is the free agent to be of this class.
Yeah.
Not just with the Browns, nationally. Well, Jim Schwartz, whether he's going to let you in on it or not publicly, has got to be pleased with not only the 2 practices, but then the defense, albeit the backups, have really done a great job showing out this week.
Yeah, the backups on the roster, but they're going to be seeing significant playing time. Jim Schwartz's defense, especially the defensive line, they ask the guys to fly all over the field to penetrate. And back when I was playing against Jim Schwartz's defense, you're going to see 6, 7, sometimes 8 defensive linemen go into a game because they want to keep guys fresh. They want to keep guys hungry.
3rd and 5. We got 3 minutes left.
Coming off the field very much is your former teammate, Miles Garrett. He got a chance to go against one of the best in an all-pro left tackle in Jordan Mailata. And what did Mailata?
You know what I care about more than that quote? Miles Garrett's emerging do-rag game. You know? He's got the pro model on with the do-rag tilted. He's stepping up his do-rag game.
Dallas, Texas, they graciously asked an old guy to come and share some wisdom and present.
Boy, that better not be Cam Mitchell.
I started the speech out by saying, not that this is going to help because there's no way to actually block Miles, but if you want to try, this is the way I would try to block him. And I think Jordan Mailata, he summed that up after going against Miles in their first joint practice and said, I'm not upset with how I did. I did everything I wanted to do. You just can't block the guy.
Well, the Eagles are going to go for it on 4th and 5 after McCord couldn't connect with Jackson on the slant.
Yeah, get the extra work in. I don't blame you.
Looking left, throwing, incomplete again. Christian Holmes just picked.
Nice play. Nearly 140 yards in a preseason game against the Panthers is legendary. Are we? Who is saying that? I don't know, man. I'm so over the fucking weirdness around the Shador Sanders, Dylan Gabriel thing. Y'all gonna eventually get a fucking grip.
So tight on the coverage, but he does a great job keeping his body away from the receiver and just sticking that left hand in there and disrupting the pass.
Quick reminder, kick off your morning. Tiffany Tucker. Local news to Super News Traffic. Power 5 weather.
This shit attracts such weird people.
Tala now into the game, and Tyler Hunt.
Is that Maserati? They just run Maserati in the preseason.
To our crew, always doing an amazing job. Browns football here on News 5 throughout the preseason. Producer Jonathan Siegel, our director Expensive, our coordinating producer Joe Kate, our tech manager Brian Arizari, our AD Dan Larson, great technicians as well. Bob Yotis, Gene Winter, Julie Arnold, Pat Farrow, Chris Delco. Thank you so much for all the work you do. Second and short with under 3 minutes to go here in Philly. Tyler now is going to get his hands on it. Picks up maybe a yard. Almost 4,000 career rushing yards in Nevada.
Get a 3rd and short here.
One of those guys that's keeping his.
You said Huntley got 7 or 8 yards? Oh, and on the run? Yeah. I don't know, man. We're not really evaluating Tyler fucking Huntley.
excuse me, not NFL, Europe, ELF, professional football over there in Europe 2 years ago. And it was so fun just getting to know the guys and just seeing their love of the game and what they're willing to do to put in the time.
They're going to let this run to the 2.
Be able to make still chase after their dream.
Are we allowed to have one season without a polarizing quarterback? Not until we have the guy, right? Like, that's the reality. Until you got the guy at quarterback, whoever's the quarterback's going to be polarizing. Because even if the quarterback himself is not polarizing, the question is polarizing, right? Because let's say somebody perfectly normal's out there, like, let's just say John Smith is your quarterback and he's okay. Well, then you're like when Baker was here, right? And Baker wasn't really polarizing, but the question of is Baker the franchise guy was extremely polarizing. Jacoby Brissett, the idea that like, oh, well, he could start, like, it's going to be polarizing until you got the guy, right? So when you get the guy who's going to be the starter forever or for a long time, then it won't be polarizing. When until that day happens, I mean, it's people are going to find ways to twist apart because there's a huge power vacuum, right? And people are going to want their guy to fill it, and that's going to create polarization. Dylan Gabriel's not really polarizing as a human being. Shedeur Sanders as a human being, not very polarizing. Joe Flacco as a human being, not very polarizing. Same thing with Kenny Pickett. These are all pretty normal, well-adjusted people who don't really say much that makes you very polarizing, right? They're very coach speak guys, but they end up becoming polarizing because they're juxtaposed of each other. And you have to pick one because there's only one starting quarterback and who's your guy and the guy that you want to win. And that's what makes the discourse about it polarizing. Until you have that starting quarterback and we know we're going to pay this guy $50 million, he's going to start, that's when the day that quarterback position would be not polarizing. Very optimistic on the defenses, Michael. Absolutely. It's funny. Every time I get mad on stream, people go, I've never seen Quincy mad. Like, I get mad on stream like once a stream. I think the last week's stream was the only stream where I've never gotten mad. But I get mad at least like once or twice a stream, y'all. And every time somebody's like, I've never seen him mad. Maybe it's just somebody's first time. They got Brock Purdy playing in their preseason game. That's nice.
It's the fancy system, specifically those tight windows, sideline throws, and man coverage, and then some of those deep middle of the field.
Good run.
That you get off of play action. So overall,
which one of you sickos in chat bet the over/under on this game? I need to know. What was it? What was the over/under? I know one of you sick bastards is sitting in chat hoping the Browns don't score a touchdown right now. Yeah, Quincy crash outs are traditional. Yeah, man. And honestly, there's been way worse. There's been so much. Look, there's been so much worse than today. I have crashed out way harder. So which one of you sick bastards in chat bet the over/under right now? I want to know.
The 2-0 on the preseason, a win on the road.
Which one of you sick bastards are sick right now that the Browns are trying to score a touchdown right now? Or are you celebrating? I want to know. You got Marshall ahead of Samson on the depth chart? No, I don't. Samson's ahead of Marshall for sure. Marshall's probably fourth.
Against the visiting Los Angeles.
37.5. Ooh, so if you bet the under, it's looking good right now because it's at 33. No, 35.
probably Shedeur Sanders. That's what.
To take a knee? Oh, if you bet the under, you're going crazy right now. No, you bet under. You're good. You're good. 35 points.
You're not matched up.
You're sick, by the way. I just want you to know. You're sick. Oh man, you're sick, dog. Spooks for short. You're a sick man. Call the fucking number, dog. That's crazy. That's nasty work. That's nasty work. All right, Browns win their second preseason game. We're gonna go live on Bleacher Report in just a few seconds here. He said, "Tell that to my bank account. You are a sick man. You are a absolutely sick bastard." I need you to understand that. All right. But yeah, that's crazy. Appreciate Anthony Latham for becoming a member. All right, let's see if this works now. Yeah, we'll get into the post game. Yeah, if you're doing prop bets on Dylan Gabriel passing yards, no disrespect, but you're sick. Oh man, yeah, that's nasty behavior right there. Dylan Gabriel passing yards, no disrespect, but you're sick. Oh man, yeah, that's nasty behavior right there. We got super chat from Update on Connected Franchise. So tomorrow I'll probably have the time to start sending the invites on both Madden and College Football 26, and then we'll get it started. Oh man, yeah, that's nasty. All right, we're gonna be live on Bleacher Report just a second. But yeah, we'll get that going in just a minute. What's good, everybody? Hopefully we get this stream going pretty soon. I want to double check, make sure everything's working before we get started here. Because yep, right here. All right, so we should be good here. Lots of, I don't know. I'm trying to make sure the player is working properly this time. All right. So publishing error, if there's multiple attempts, please try again. I don't know if this is working or not. Let me copy this. But hopefully we're live on Bleacher Report as well as live on YouTube. Am I going to be over there? Somebody asked if I'm going to be over in Minnesota for the Minnesota game. Probably not. Not something I can afford to do right now. Getting out there to the UK, it's very difficult, you know. So probably won't be happening. But I hope if you are over in that area and you want to go enjoy the Browns, go ahead and check that out. That should be fun. That should be a fun endeavor. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. If that's what you're doing, if you are making the trip overseas, let me know. I'm going to wish you well. Just want to go ahead and wish you well. So a lot of conversation is going to be had about the quarterback position overall, right? We're going to talk a ton about quarterbacks and how they looked, and we're going to be micro-analyzing every single snap. But I think the big picture is also important, and to keep that in mind, right? You know, you've seen how quarterbacks have looked before. You see how they look right now. Got to consider that as well. So lots of things to think about before we get started here today. And again, I'm sorry, I'm just making sure that everything is working properly here. We getting thumbs up? We getting thumbs up? I think I'm live on both. Okay. Make sure I'm live on both. I don't know if I'm live on both. All right, I'm just going to hope I'm live on both here. I think I've done everything correct. And I should be. All right, so lots to talk about. Lots to talk about today, about what we saw in this preseason game. The first thing I want to, one of the first things I thought was interesting about this game is kind of the big picture of it all, right? Because we have been hearing that the Browns look good in joint practice, that they got the better of the Eagles, especially at second day, debatably that first day. We've watched the Browns put up better showing in the joint practices this year, and just overall leave a lot more room to be a lot more optimistic about where this team sits going forward. And today was a continuation of that, right? You saw positive things along the defensive line. You saw positive things from the offense. So it's nice to see this be a continuation of what we felt like was already some real positive movement for this football team over the last couple of weeks. At quarterback specifically, you know, we're going to talk about Dylan and how he played. I thought he looked good. And I think it's very encouraging in my mind that both quarterbacks, both rookie quarterbacks at least, have gone out there in the preseason and they've looked prepared. They've looked ready to play. They look like they're not overwhelmed by the moment. And that was one of my biggest criticisms of Kevin, right? Was that, hey, it feels like when these guys go out there, for whatever reason, it feels like these guys are being put in moments that they're not necessarily prepared for, specifically at the quarterback position. And when that happens enough, you have to start asking questions about if that's on the coaching staff, right? The Browns brought in a quarterback coach, Bill Musgrave. They changed out offensive coordinators. Tommy Reese is now the offensive coordinator. And obviously Kevin Stefanski has taken back more control of the offense than he did when Ken Dorsey was here. It looks like all of those moves are paying off. The quarterbacks look much more prepared when they're out there, right? And it might just be because they're just better players than what the Browns had out there. It might be also not only are they better players, but they are better prepared to play than the guys who were out there last year. All that being said, the fact that Dylan can go out there, look pretty solid, right after Shador went out there and looked good, I think is a positive sign for the team overall, because we don't know if the answer for quarterbacks on this roster. More than likely, if you're looking at trends, right, and where what picks turn into quarterbacks usually, the odds are that we don't have a quarterback on this roster that's going to be the long-term answer. The hope is that one of these guys defies those odds and becomes a starter. But right now, the odds aren't in your favor, and the odds are saying you're probably going to have to draft the quarterback next year. So if you're in that position, you want to feel good about your team's ability to develop that quarterback. And I feel better today than I did a month ago about the Cleveland Browns' ability to develop a quarterback, given that we've seen positive stuff all camp from Shador Sanders. Dylan Gabriel, who seemed to hit a wall for a little while, has seemingly bounced back from that wall. He had some really nice throws in this game. So overall, at the quarterback position, I think it's a really good thing that both these guys were able to get out there and look good in front of the competition that they were playing. I don't know how much more it says about both those guys individually. Other than that, given that it's the preseason, you can't take away more, right? You can't give away MVPs and starting jobs because of 1 week in the preseason, but it's encouraging, right? Then that continues with the entire rookie class, right? It's been an encouraging training camp for almost every pick that the Browns have had, outside of the one guy who hasn't been able to be in camp, in Quincy Junkins. So overall, that's a really good thing. If we want to talk specifically about Dylan Gabriel, first thing you got to address is the 2 turnovers, right? Not ideal. The Browns don't want to turn the ball over. One of the things Kevin was really happy with Shador last week was that he was +2, right? So the Browns got 2 turnovers and did not turn the ball over once in that game. The Browns were not +2 in this game, or if they were, it was because of a ton of turnovers on Philly's side, but the Browns turned the ball over twice. That's not ideal. The first interception that Dylan Gabriel threw was a pick 6. And the reason the interception happened was because Dylan threw it first, right? So that's why Dylan gets the blame for the interception. He threw a pass that was ill-advised. But on top of throwing a pass that was ill-advised, he also, so he threw an ill-advised pass. But on top of that, Deontay Johnson, who I think has really done a lot to cut himself, he ran one of the worst routes on the play action concept I've ever seen, where he's supposed to be taking the middle, intermediate part of the field. Cedric Tillman is supposed to be drawing his man away deep, so he runs like a little, it looks like a deep over, but then he snakes it to a 9. And then the tight end slides out to run a little flat route. Deontay's supposed to have like 10 yards of depth. He's right on top of the flat route. It's a horrific route that runs his man right into coverage. And that's who ends up getting the pick 6. So again, Dylan gets the blame because he threw the interception. Absolutely gets the blame because he threw the interception. On top of that, it was a horrific play for Deontay Johnson, and Deontay Johnson helped cause that interception. Dylan's got to throw that ball away. Now, last week, I gave some grace for Shador, given that he was probably rusty, dealing with shoulder soreness. I'm going to give grace to Dylan this week for being rusty, right? Same rust that Shador was dealing with. And also dealing with a hamstring injury that probably limited him in some capacity. The fumbled snap, I got to look at the tape on that. I don't know what happened there. It looked like Dylan couldn't reach Pierre Strong, and for whatever reason, Pierre Strong was out wide on that. I don't know what happened there. I got to watch the tape on that one to really know. Either way, wasn't a good look on Dylan either. So those 2 plays, I think if he did not have those 2 plays, his grade would be much higher for today. But those 2 grades were the negatives for him. What I thought was really positive from Dylan is, one, he showcased his arm strength, right? He has a pretty good arm. He puts a good spin on that football. He threw a couple of lasers over the middle of the field. that I thought were very impressive. He looked very sharp throwing the ball. He was able to get the ball everywhere he needed to. He certainly has the arm strength to get the ball where he needs to, and he has drive on that football. I would say, if you're asking me, the number one thing I was most impressed with Dylan is his arm looks a lot more live than I gave it credit for in pre-draft. He has a very live arm, and he was able to use it. He was aggressive. He was aggressive in the intermediate part of the field, which I thought was impressive. I thought his best work were in the and long situations. So second and long, first and long, third and long. I thought he dealt out of those and long situations really, really well. Was able to get the Browns out of a handful of holes in and long situations, which is very positive. It's hard to compare and like give it a one-to-one comp because it's not a one-to-one situation with him and Shedeur. I thought Shedeur was a better playmaker than Dylan, but I thought Dylan executed the offense really well today, especially within the rhythm of it, getting the ball out on time, getting the ball to certain spots on the field, making sure he's going through the progressions correctly, having his eyes on the right side of the field. All that stuff I thought Dylan did really well with. So I thought it was a pretty strong game from him. Also, did not feel that the height was affecting him to an outrageous degree. Now, the one area, and this is kind of funny, that I think height really affected him was, I think because Pierre Strong cut out wide a little bit on that run, that's why he couldn't reach him. And it's part of why that fumble happened. So maybe he was too short to hand the ball off, which certainly is its own problem. But I would say overall, it was a pretty solid day from Dylan. And look, there were points in this game, like before he threw that interception, on that drive, he was absolutely dealing. So had some really nice throws. Really threw a full repertoire today too. So I was pretty impressed with what I saw from Dylan. Was I more impressed with what I saw from Dylan than what I saw from Shedeur? I would say I was slightly more impressed with Shedeur because I like the playmaking ability, the accuracy that he did. And Shedeur was able to finish these drives in the end zone, throw touchdown passes. Dylan did not do that, right? It's not like he missed them. He just didn't really get the opportunity. But Shedeur did finish these drives with touchdowns. So there was that. So I was still more impressed with Shedeur than I was with Dylan. But Dylan was right up there. And I think the thing that Dylan Gabriel did today was he demonstrated that there are valid reasons for why the Browns drafted him where they drafted him. I think it's funny, too, because if Dylan did not get drafted in the same draft class as Shedeur, and if I think we would have similar reactions to how we had for Shedeur for what we saw with Dylan today. But because Shedeur is here, it's like this whole tug and pull thing where people are going to argue back and forth about which one looked better. I think the good news is that both look good, right? If you're a Browns team desperate for quarterback play, you want as many of the quarterbacks on your roster look good as possible. And I think that's the good news if you're a Browns fan, that both these guys look solid. So there is that. I thought Dylan had himself a pretty strong day. If I were Dylan Gabriel, there's obviously stuff you want to clean up, obviously stuff you want to get better. I mean, the same thing was true of Shedeur Sanders last week. Obviously, you don't want to pull the trigger when you think something's going wrong on a play-action play and it results in a pick six. He knows he made a mistake there. The good news is that it's the preseason. And, yeah, the Browns won today, so it didn't cost you the game. But also, even if it did, it's not that big of a deal. That's what the preseason is for. That's what practice is for. But I thought really strong showing from Dylan Gabriel and somebody who, his spot on the depth chart, his spot on the roster, it feels deserved now. Before then, there was a lot of concern that he was just being propped up or, just being put there because he was drafted there. I think you saw some of what the coaching staff sees in him, some of what, the scouting staff saw in him to justify why he went where he went. You got to see a little bit of the vision. Still have concerns about Dylan Gabriel, right? The height, still very much a concern. for somebody who is supposed to be that game manager, for somebody who is supposed to pride himself on the taking care of the football, he did not take care of the football, right? So that's a concern there with Dylan that you want to see corrected as time goes on. But I think you also saw, the inkling of a guy who can operate the offense at a pretty efficient and, competent level. So you balance out those things. I think the and long performance, right? The third down and long performance, and the amount of chunk plays he was able to create in the passing game were very impressive, though. So, to me, it outbalances the couple of mistakes that he made, and I thought he looked pretty good here. I'm pretty happy that both these quarterbacks look good, man. I am pretty happy with both these quarterbacks. And you know what? It has me interested to see just what Joe Flacco looks like, just what even Kenny Pickett looks like. Because, Shador goes out there to start. He looked better than I expected. Dylan goes out there to start. He looks better than I expected. That's two quarterbacks now. Okay, well, will Kenny look better than I expected? Will Joe look better than I expected? Again, it does not guarantee you anything for the regular season, but you want to feel good about where they are right now. And I think I feel a lot better about where they are with being able to create a passing game. I think it's also unfortunate that Shador couldn't play in this game, right? He had the oblique situation. They held him out of this game, even though they had him dressed. Hopefully he could play next week, but I don't know how many reps are going to be there for either of these rookies next week. But, I wish we got to see more of an extended look at Shador, too, because I thought Shador was going to have a really good second preseason game, because I thought some of the inaccuracy that he had in that first week was just due to him being rusty. So, unfortunately, we didn't get to see him play today, because I'm pretty sure he would have looked good as well. But, I'd rather have two quarterbacks looking good than one or none. And I think that's where I kind of sit on this whole quarterback situation thing. I thought he played pretty well. Let's get to some winners and losers from this preseason game, right? Because I think so far in the preseason, there have been some definitive winners and some definitive losers, some guys who have gone up in my mind and some guys who have gone down, right? Let's start with somebody who is in the losing category here. Deontay Johnson. I think, me personally, I'm over the Deontay Johnson experience, and I'm over the Deontay Johnson experiment. When you go to camp, there are times where Deontay Johnson looks super talented. He looks locked in. He looks like he cares. But, man, in these preseason games, I'm looking at somebody who just doesn't care. Too many mistakes made by him, not even mistakes. Too many plays on tape from him this week and last week that make me question his effort. And for a guy like Deontay Johnson, who's already dealing with massive concerns about how locked in is he, how much of a team guy he is, this is stuff that can't happen in this situation. He talks about understanding the moment and knowing that this is his last opportunity. This tape for the preseason, these last 2 weeks, it doesn't look like he understands that, quite frankly. The tape from last week was not just bad, it was atrocious. It was god-awful. It was dog duke. It was terrible tape. He was bad. He looked awful. And remember, this guy is a former all-pro wide receiver. He knows how to play football. He's not some rookie that's coming up from playing in the Big 12 to now trying to make it happen in the NFL. He's not some young guy. He's a 28, 29-year-old veteran wide receiver that's been a all-pro caliber player before. And he's running routes that look like garbage on a consistent basis. He's blocking. I would even call what he's doing is blocking. He's not even blocking on run plays or screens, and he's causing TFLs because of that. And then what he did today in this game I thought was like the final one. You know what I mean? He like go watch if you really want to know how bad Deontay Johnson was, and also Tevin Jenkins were in that first game. Go watch QB Film School's breakdown of Shador's first game. I think JT O'Sullivan did a great job outlining specifically why these routes were bad. But go watch that. It doesn't look like a player who cares. When you're running one of the most basic play action concepts, right? High, low, flat. When you're running one of the most basic play action concepts and you can't run that one properly, it's not because you don't know better. It's because you're not being better. Running that play, that route the way he did, I mean, there's got to be an explanation. Either he did not know what the play call was, but it doesn't seem like from his route, he didn't know it seems like he knew what the play call was. He just like scramble drilled right to the ball for whatever reason, even though it's a design rollout. It is a concerning demonstration of not being locked in from Deontay Johnson. And I don't think this team can deal with that. You know, I don't think this team needs that. So I would put Deontay Johnson in the losing category. The other player I would put here, and I hate to do it because I think he's a nice guy, but I can't ignore it anymore. You got to put Cam Mitchell here, man. There's no justification to not put Cam Mitchell here. He absolutely 1,000% belongs in this category. He looks like the worst corner the Cleveland Browns have right now. I'm not even joking. I'm not even being hyperbolic. He's getting destroyed in practice, not by just Gage Larvin, not just by Luke Floria. He's getting destroyed by guys who got cut already. And then you watch him in joint practice, and then the same bottom of the roster guys for the Carolina Panthers are cooking him. And then you watch him in this game, and he couldn't do anything. He couldn't guard a single thing out there. He had one play in the fourth quarter of this preseason game, but like he couldn't do anything with anybody. I cannot believe he's going to be the starting slot. If he's your starting slot, you're going to have a lot of issues. I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe he's playing injured. There's got to be something up. There's no way he's actually this bad. But man, it was not good. It was not good from Cam Mitchell. It was an awful game from Cam Mitchell. And I would put Cam Mitchell squarely in the losing category. And I'm honestly at the point to where I don't even want to see him get snaps with the first team defense anymore in the slot. I want to see what Nick Needham looks like. I want to see what Tony Brown looks like in there. Give me somebody else in the slot because it can't be him. It absolutely cannot be him. He's not ready for it. He's just not ready for it. I don't know if you cut him, but it can't be him. Got to put him in the losing category. The next guy who's going to be cautiously in the losing category because there was a giant red flag for him today is DeJuan Jones. Now, DeJuan Jones didn't play bad today, but the fact that DeJuan was in the game in the preseason when all the other starters aren't playing, that's massively concerning. I did some digging. I think the working theory from those who have been at practice every day is that DeJuan Jones has just not been looking great at left tackle during camp, and they want to just give him more reps at left tackle. Unfortunately, your backup plan, you lost him in this game. Cornelius Lucas went to left this game early with the injury. Hopefully it's not major. But, you know, when they were talking about the offensive line was holding its own in Philadelphia's practice, I was pretty encouraged by that. But then you see DeJuan Jones out there, and it's like, oh, well, maybe 4 of the offensive linemen were holding their own, but maybe not DeJuan. That's concerning. That's concerning. I can't really hide that one anymore. So those are my 3 guys I'm going to put in the losing category. Let's talk about guys who I thought went out there and won in this preseason game, right? So we talked about Dylan. We talked about Shador last week. I think these last 2 weeks have been win column for both those quarterbacks. I think it's also been win column for Joe Flacco. But just thinking about that right now makes me actually want to walk back to the losing column, because there's another guy I want to add to the losing column. He didn't play this week, but it's Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett has emerged as the obvious guy to be the odd man out. So I would put him firmly in the losing column. It's not good for Kenny Pickett that Dylan looks good in this offense and it looks like you could play him. It's not good that Shador looks promising for Kenny Pickett, and it's not good that Joe Flacco looks promising for the Browns. So what's the point of having Kenny Pickett? So, yeah, I think Kenny is in a tough spot here. He got injured. It's cost him a lot of opportunities, but let's face it here. This is the guy you needed to see the most in training camp, and unfortunately, he's the guy who got to play the least. And in his absence, Dylan has stepped up and looked good. Shador has stepped up and looked good. Joe Flacco has stepped up and looked good. But where does that exactly leave Kenny Pickett? Probably on the cutting room floor. So add Kenny Pickett there to the losing list. Now we can jump to the winners. Jamari Thrash. Look, he's winning as much as Deontay Johnson is losing. It takes me all the way back to, what was it? It was OTAs, where Deontay Johnson didn't show up to OTAs, which was the first red flag. And it was Jamari Thrash out there taking his reps. And all you heard was Jamari Thrash looks pretty good. And then you get to training camp and you're seeing it. Jamari Thrash looks good. And in 2 preseason games in, Jamari Thrash looks pretty good. Jamari Thrash looks good. Deontay Johnson looks bad. The team just signed Isaiah Bond. You do the math there. But it's nice to see Jamari Thrash look good. You know, it looks like he might be able to, you know, maybe not get a ton of targets this year, but take some targets. I thought Cedric Tillman looked good today too. So that's really good. But yeah, Jamari Thrash, if he could look good, that makes you feel so much better about this wide receiver room. And he's looked good throughout camp, throughout the preseason games. This is a continuation of it. And, you know, I was very high on Jamari Thrash when the Browns drafted him last year. I think a lot of people had expectations that he would play in year one. I did not have expectations he would play in year one. So I think some people might have cooled off on him. But Jamari Thrash looks like his development's going as planned. And I'd be very encouraged with what you're seeing out of Jamari. You know, so there's that, right? So Jamari Thrash, I would put him in the positive category. The Browns' run game, 2nd week in a row, it's looked pretty good. Now, again, it's the preseason. You're not going up against, you know, game plans, and it's not even your first team out there, so take it with a massive grain of salt. But the Browns' run game for a 2nd week in a row was very productive for them. I'm very encouraged. Hopefully this means that the Browns' run game will be productive. But if we look at the team stats here, Browns this week, with 331 total yards of offense, it's pretty good. Considering that the Philadelphia Eagles, that can't be right. That can't be right. The Philadelphia Eagles only had 88 yards of total offense. I mean, we're going to put the defense in the winner category in just a second here. But yeah, the Browns had 132 yards in the run game and I think that's over 100 the last 2 weeks. That's very encouraging. They've been looking like they've been able to get done what they want to in the run game. And I'm very, very excited about that. And even like in the passing game, right, they were pretty solid there as well. Offensive line, I thought, held up really well. Even the second team unit. It's just some questions you have about like DeWand, right? Like, how's he actually looking? Because it's not been great, what you've been hearing. But yeah, the run game looks alive so far. And again, it's the preseason. You can't tell. But last year when the run game looked terrible, it ended up being a precursor to much worse things going on with the team. So run game looks good. That's a very good thing. But let's talk about the flip side of that. The Browns defense, you're going to put them in the winning category. They look like they are, in fact, that Browns defense again. And again, we haven't seen Miles. We haven't seen Mike Hall. We've only seen Mason Graham a tiny bit. But what we've seen of the Browns defense has been extremely impressive. They gave up only 88 total yards in this game against the Philadelphia Eagles. And this is a Philadelphia Eagles team whose second and third team units absolutely shredded the Cincinnati Bengals starting and backup units last week. So it's not nothing. It's something there. I wouldn't say it's everything, but it's something. I think there's something to take away from that. There is also the fact that the defensive line looks really, really solid right now. Isaiah McGuire had a nice pass rush. I thought that there was a nice rush from Joe Tryon-Shoyinka as well. Like, this defensive line looks as advertised. It looks like they're going to have depth, guys to throw in there. That's why I'm really worried about slot corner, because, like, I just want to plug that hole so it's not that big of a deal, right? But really, really impressed with what we've seen from the front seven of this team, and especially Courage with that. So have to put the Browns defense in that whole winner category. Are there any other winners that I'm missing here? I think I got all the losers. I think I got all the winners too. Jamari Thrash. Oh, Gage Laverdon. He's making an argument to make the team. I don't know how he's going to make the team because he can't. They're keeping Dwayne Carter as the punt return, kick return guy. But, man, Gage looks good out there returning kicks and punts. I imagine he's going to be priority practice squad. But he's gonna have a job this fall, for sure. Somebody's going to give him a job. He's earned that at least. But those are my winners and losers from this game as well. I think so far it's been a pretty good offseason for the Browns, a pretty good training camp, and a pretty good couple of games in the preseason. Again, winning in the preseason, it's not super valuable. The one time the Browns went 0-16, they won every game in the preseason. I think this is a little different, right? Because you're impressed with what you're seeing at the top of these games versus like caring about what's happening at the bottom. When the Browns went undefeated the preseason, I believe they were doing a lot of that stuff in the back end. And they were also playing starters. Now, the Browns' 2017 starters weren't really good, but they were playing their starters a lot in the preseason. The Browns are 2-0 in the preseason without even playing their starters. So I think this is a lot different than like 2017, right, where they were trying to win in the preseason. So that's good. Anytime you keep score, you want to win, obviously. But I think this has been a good showing for the Cleveland Browns. It's been a good 3 weeks for them. Ultimately, you got to do it in the all regular season or else none of this shit actually matters. But it's a good sign. It's a good step forward for this team. I thought Dylan Gabriel showed you some good stuff. The fact that we're now at the point, hopefully we get to see Quincy next week, but we're now at the point to where you can point to 5 of the 6 draft picks and say, I've seen something good from these guys. I've seen something encouraging. You've seen a lot of encouragement around Shador, a lot of encouragement around Dylan, a lot of encouraging things from Harold Fanon from practice, obviously Mason Graham, a lot of encouraging things there. Carson Schlesinger, Dylan Sampson. It's been a pretty encouraging training camp for all of these guys. And that's a really good sign here. So hopefully that trend continues next week as the Browns get into kind of a game week simulation week of practice, right? So I'd expect, you're not going to get a lot of snaps in practice from the rookies after this point, and probably not a lot of snaps in the game next week from the rookies after this point, right? It's going to start to get game planning, right? They're going to start game planning, have guys be scout team, all of that stuff, get that working as they get Joe Flacco prepared to start. That's another thing. This team all but confirmed that Joe Flacco is going to be the starter during this game. The team employees were pretty clear on that. So I'd be surprised if anything else happened. But that's what went down, the winners and losers of this game. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. But everybody have a great day. Have an even better night. You're watching on Bleacher Report. I appreciate you for watching on Bleacher Report. If you're watching on YouTube, I also appreciate you for watching on YouTube. But all of that being said, y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace. Okay, so we're off of BR. Did we get any super chats while I was recording? I'll double check. Someone said, Louis Cousins says, I don't think DTR is an NFL QB. What do you think? What do I think? I think what happens with DTR is he's talented enough to be in the NFL. I just think he gets in his own head. En route dumpster says, yo, good job today, bro. Appreciate you. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's what happens with DTR. Once he makes one mistake, it just snowballs for him. And that's what I thought was, let me go ahead. Another thing I want to mention with Dylan is I know a lot of people are going to bring up that he turned the ball over twice. I talked about it earlier in the video. But what I did appreciate that we got the opportunity to see, and, you know, who knows, maybe we'll get to see Sanders do the same thing, which, again, if he does, it would be encouraging as well. But you got to see Dylan after he made a pretty obvious mistake, right? You shouldn't throw that ball. I don't care where Deontay is and how, like, yes, Deontay ran a dog dookie route, but still you can't throw it if you're not sure about what's going on there. So that happened for sure. But how do you bounce back from it, right? I say it all the time. You're going to make mistakes when you're out there. Football players are going to mess up every once in a while. If you're a quarterback, you're going to throw an interception. And very likely, if you're a quarterback, you're going to throw a pick six at least once in your life, right? Nobody has never done it. Tom Brady has thrown a ton of pick sixes. So, you know, how do you bounce back from that mistake, right? That was one of the things with DTR that drove me crazy, was DTR would have these spurts where he's fine, and then he makes a mistake, and then it all just crumbles. What I appreciated that Dylan did, right, he threw that pick six, but the next drive, he led a scoring drive, right? He drove down the field pretty effectively, made some plays, put the ball in playmakers' hands, threw the ball, was pretty good there, and led to a scoring drive. And I appreciate that, right? Being able to bounce back, you know. Would I have rather not had to find out because you didn't throw the interception? Of course. But given that did happen, it was an opportunity to see, okay, how does this dude bounce back? And I thought it was a fairly impressive bounce back from him. That being said, you don't want him to turn the ball over twice the next time he's out there, obviously. But I thought in between those mistakes, you saw some pretty good stuff here. I've heard people try to like write off what Dylan did as dink and dunk. I think what Dylan did was much less dink and dunk than like what Shedeur did. And that's not to say that it's more impressive than what Shedeur did, but I think Dylan had a higher yards per attempt than Shedeur. And if you're just looking at the passes that Dylan completed, they weren't really dink and dunk. Like there are a couple of stick routes and everything else, like curls on stick that he threw, but he threw them on time and got the yards he needed to get, which those opportunities were there for Sanders when he played. And that was one of the main critiques that were coming out of the film breakdowns from Sanders. If you listen to like JT O'Sullivan's like really big into how somebody processes, where he felt like Shedeur just didn't take the obvious answer enough for his liking. And I think there's some legit criticism there for Shedeur to take just the obvious answer, because I think Dylan was able to stay ahead of the sticks because he was doing that and operate the offense and get to where he wanted to a lot easier. And you want to see Shedeur be able to do the same exact thing. So I think that kind of stuff there was really good from DTR. And like he was attacking downfield. He made some big throws, threw some outs, had some nice zip on it, right? Good giddy up on that ball. So yeah, I would walk away from this being fairly enthused with what you've seen out of Dylan Gabriel. I would walk away from last week feeling fairly enthused about Shedeur. And hopefully we can live in this crazy world where the Browns might be right about two quarterbacks. Like maybe that's where we're heading, right? But both these guys, right, Shedeur and Dylan Gabriel, when they were out there, both looked like they belonged. And I think that's what you wanted to see from them. Dylan looked like he belongs out there. He's an NFL guy. Shedeur looks like he belongs out there. He's an NFL guy. And like, if you really want to know just how different that is from what's been here in the past, when you watch the fourth quarter of this game, you were seeing like Dorian Thompson-Robinson and Tyler Huntley go up against each other. And it's like, wow. These guys have been in the league for like a couple of years. Both these guys have been backup quarterbacks in the NFL, right? Have won backup jobs in the NFL. Tyler Huntley has played in playoff games. And you watch Dylan and you watch Shedeur play, and it's like, oh, they look better than those guys. Now, it's the preseason again. I don't want to make it out to be something it's not, but that's a really good sign that you say to yourself, oh, Shedeur looks better than that, than a career backup, right? And you see Dylan, you're like, oh, there's a clear difference between Dylan and Dorian Thompson-Robinson or Tyler Huntley. That's what you want to see. That's encouraging. So again, I'm very encouraged with the quarterback room right now. Dragon the Abandoner with the super chat. Let me get to it real quick. Dragon says, I said it in Shedeur's start when they were in shotgun every play. Dylan was running more of what Kevin wants to do, but I still think Shedeur's better. I think Shedeur ran what Kevin wanted to do. And I think Shedeur was really good in the play action under center. I thought Shedeur was better in play action under center and rollout situations than Dylan was in this game, right? Dylan seemed to overthink it at times, right? Where Shedeur, I thought he was really natural. I thought that was the best part of his game week one, was how natural he was in those rollout situations there. So I don't think either of these guys aren't a fit for what Kevin wants to do. I think both these guys fit exactly what Kevin wants to do. I just think Dylan is more used to living in structure of the offense than Shedeur is, but I don't think Shedeur is that far off, And I think Shedeur, I agree with you. Shedeur might be behind from that standpoint, but he's certainly ahead, in my opinion, in his ability to place the football and his ability to identify, to be creative when needing to make plays. Like, he's a playmaker more so than Dylan Gabriel is. But Dylan didn't go out there and look like garbage, and I think you got to give him credit for that. So there's that. I I know the natural urge is going to be pit these two guys together and who's better, right? Who's better? And do that whole annoying thing. There's really no fun in that. I think Joe Thomas said it right in the broadcast. Comparison is the thief of joy. So don't rob yourself of joy. Both these guys went out there, looked good. That's a good thing for the Cleveland Browns. And if you're a Browns fan, that's awesome. You know? If you're not a Browns fan and you're upset that Dylan Gabriel, that some people would have the audacity to say that Dylan Gabriel did look good out there because it's not really helpful to what you want to push, then that's tough titty. Like, hey, that's tough titty, buddy. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm not here for Shador. I'm here for the Browns. So I'm going to root for what's best for the Browns. And sometimes that's aligned with what's best for Shador. Sometimes it's not. But yeah. Yeah, I think the most impressive thing from Dylan is like the arm strength. He threw a tighter, like Dylan spiral, and I noticed this when I was at camp. Dylan throws a tighter spiral than every other quarterback on the roster except for Joe Flacco. Any updates on JOK? He's out for the year. Yeah, JOK's out for the year. He ain't coming back. Yep. All right. But that's been it. I think we've had a great time. I've enjoyed it. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.